Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us today on another insane edition of Crime and Sports. We have more madness for you. It's a little bit old-timey today, which is fun.
Terrific.
I love the old-timey baseball ones. Those are fun.
Yeah.
We have a wild episode. Guy who had a real up and down life, and it's gonna be fun. I hope you enjoyed the two-parter on Tom Paine. That's good stuff there. Before we go on, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your merchandise, get your tickets for live shows, all of that good stuff. All the new dates for Small Town Murder for 2025 are going to be announced on there very shortly. So do that. Also follow on social media. Do all that stuff here. You definitely also want Patreon. All the bonus episodes.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to all the Crime and Sports, all the Small Town Murder, all the Your Stupid Opinions, which is hilarious. And if you haven't listened to that, you're losing and missing out. You've listened to all of it. You want more. We have Patreon. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all the bonus materials. Anybody $5 a month or above, you not only get hundreds of episodes, back catalog stuff bonus stuff you've never heard before immediately, but you also get new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder. You get it all. That's what I'm talking about. So this week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to do just a kind of a fun, kind of a palate cleanser for the pedophilia here. Just we did this a few years back, and we're going to do another edition of terrible sports songs.
Great.
Athletes singing bad songs.
Oh, no.
Teams singing bad songs about themselves to a choreographed dance. All this shit, because we didn't get to all of them last time, and there's so many more. No, we got to check it all out. So it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for that. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to finally talk about remote viewing. We'll get to that, where they think people can, concentrate hard enough to not only be psychic, but to see exactly what's going on at this very moment in a fucking mountain. So in a cave. We'll talk all about that shit. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of that, and you get a shout out at the end of the show as well. Here we go. So this week, what we have for you, a little bit of an old-timey episode, like we said. Okay. Not too bad. We're talking, not 1900. A little bit up from there, but fun stuff here. And by the way, look for this in the future. We have several multi-parters coming up here.
Great.
Bigger ones this year. We're going to do, I don't even know how many parts it's going to be, but we're going to do kind of a series on Evel Knievel at some point. Because I'm reading this book, and he's the craziest bastard who's ever lived. I'm talking, of all the people we've done, he's the craziest by far.
He was out of his fucking mind.
And he was involved in several crime rings and everything else. He's a lunatic. So it's going to be, I don't even know, a 5-parter. I have no idea. And then we're going to do a long one on Billy Martin as well because,
oh, great.
Holy shit, has there never been a bigger menace in the sport of baseball than him. So can't wait.
I wonder, is Robbie Knievel dead too?
I don't think so. Is he?
No?
Not sure.
He did die.
Oh, he did die. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't positive.
I thought he did. That's crazy.
And that's Evil's real first name is Robbie.
Yeah. And this, wait, yeah, because his son is dead too.
Yeah, okay. They're both dead. Yeah. I'll tell you even on that episode how he got the name, which is ridiculous.
Evil?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous how he got the name Evel Knievel.
And then didn't even spell it right. It's so bizarre.
Oh, he did that on purpose.
Did he? Okay.
He did that on purpose because he didn't want it to be like I'm evil, but he wanted it to be like evil still. You know what I mean? But like a fucking jail guy gave him that nickname. A guy who was a jailer who had him in jail. It's fucking crazy. And it wasn't even based on him. It was based on some other guy. It's crazy shit.
Anytime I ever fell down as a kid, my uncle, the drunk one that died under a tree, used to call me Awful
Which one?
Kanoffel.
Awful Kanoffel. That's the funny part is, I might as well say it now. There was a guy where Evel Knievel grew up in Butte, Montana.
Yeah.
He was like the worst guy in town that got arrested all the time. So much so he was banned from Montana. Okay. His name.
He's exiled from Montana.
His name was.
You get out of Butte.
Wait, it was.
That's a Dakota, isn't it?
No. It was Butte. That's where he grew up. Butte, Montana.
Really? Okay, all right.
Absolutely. This is where this happened.
Terrific.
And his name was something Kanoffel was his name, and everyone called him Awful Kanoffel. That
makes it so much better.
And then they kicked him out of Montana, and he had to move away. They literally, when they kicked him out, they said, listen, the judge told him that the bus station is a block away. Do not get arrested on the way to the bus station, or I'm going to fucking put you in jail.
That makes my skin and knees much more worth it.
It's so fun. So then when Evel Knievel started getting in trouble a couple years later, one of the jailers said, we had an awful Kanoffel, now we got an Evel Knievel. Perfect.
That's so funny.
And he said, light bulb, fucking, I'm Evel Knievel. That was that.
Terrific.
Yeah, that's crazy as shit. That's like the least crazy story of anything that happened in this old fucking guy's life.
I can't wait.
I can't wait for that.
And that guy spawned a million broken legs across the country.
Oh, God, how many injured children? How many fucking huffies lay with a wheel spinning while a kid lays there screaming for his mother to come help him? How many?
The original Johnny Knoxville. He was so great.
How fucking many? Holy shit, he was a psychopath. So we'll get to him though. Don't worry. We got China episode. We got so many good episodes coming up here. So this week we have another very good episode. We're going to talk about Henry Curtis Thompson. Okay. You've probably never heard of. Hank Thompson is better known by. He's a baseball player, and we'll talk about him. He's a third baseman. He is born December 8th, so I mean, just past his birthday here.
Yeah, just happened.
December 8th, 1925. So
fuck, he'd be 99 today.
99 he would be, absolutely. Or he might be. We'll talk. He might still be alive. You won't know till the end of the episode.
You're right. Great point. He might be sitting right next to Jimmy Carter or something.
You have no idea. In hospice, just go. And you want to go build a house? I don't know. I'm kind of tired.
Mouth open, looking up at the sky, the two of them.
The two of them together. So, this guy... he's born, let's see, where's he born? In Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's right. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma City, to the father and mother pair of Ollie Thompson and Iona Thompson.
Oh, those are some 1920s.
Those are some old-timey, those are some people who were born turn of the century there, that is,
Ollie, a 1920s name, or Tony Hawk's kid.
Or one of the two. And they're black people, too. So Ollie.
Is that right?
Yeah. These are definitely black people, because Hank played in the Negro Leagues. I mean, he was... Okay. Yeah, he played with Satchel Paige and shit. So he's born, like we said, Oklahoma, December 8th, 1925. It's everywhere has him listed as being born in Oklahoma City, but in an interview in 1965, he said he was actually born in Muskogee, which is about 125 miles away. His father was a railroad worker and a heavy drinker, which you probably have to be to work on the railroad back then. At the end of the day, you probably need that. His mother, Iona, was a cook and a domestic worker. So both parents, working.
Housekeepers, yeah.
Absolutely. The family moved to Dallas, Texas when Hank was just a baby. And his parents got separated when he was still very small, and they got divorced after that. He lived with his mother. He lived with his mother, but his mother worked a lot, trying to take care of all these kids now because there's 7 kids, so that's a lot.
Right, yeah.
And so his older sister, Florence, would watch him while his mom was at work. And apparently he was a bit of a handful for Florence.
I believe
a little bit too much of. If he's on this show, you can't imagine he'd be easy to watch as a child. Hardly any of the guys we've had would have been a real treat to watch as a 7-year-old. He said, my sister Florence was supposed to watch me, but I would sneak off and play ball. All I wanted was to play ball. They made me go to school, but I played hooky. So he didn't give a shit about anything but baseball, and that was it. He liked the streets. That was that. The streets of Dallas were his home, he said.
Hell yeah.
By age 11, he was arrested for the first time.
Okay.
So we start off hot here on Crime and Sports. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
He was picked up on suspicion of stealing some jewelry from a car, and he said he didn't do it. We don't know.
Of course he did.
Eventually, though, they couldn't, I guess he didn't have the jewelry, so they couldn't prove it, so they just busted him for truancy instead.
Shouldn't you be in school anyway?
Either way, you should be in school. So let's go down the list. Anything else? Did you spit gum on the sidewalk, too? Did you jaywalk on the way over to that car? He says, they ended up shipping him off to the Gatesville Reform School for 6 months.
Wow.
For truancy. God damn, you didn't want to skip school back then. Holy fuck.
No kidding.
Jesus. Gatesville had a baseball program, which this is his first time he got to actually play on an organized team. So,
sure.
Not great. You got sent to a reform school, but you actually got to play baseball now. So after this, he decided he wanted to try to keep his nose clean and not be in any more trouble here. Yeah. Because he realized that reform school sucks, baseball or not.
It's not good.
No one wants to live in fucking reform school, especially in the goddamn in the early 30s. This is a Depression era reform school.
That's gross.
Think about that, man. That is fucking brutal, man. So after being released, he got sent to live with his dad for a year.
Oh, that's punishment.
Yeah, I guess so. He claimed his father wouldn't let him play baseball. I don't know what the reason for that would be.
There's probably a multitude of them.
Not allowed to play baseball. Think of anything else that gets his energy out. If he's being a pain in the ass, go run around in the field for a while.
As a dad that probably has nothing, it's probably a reward to play. So
maybe,
I don't know, man. Maybe don't get arrested and we'll talk about it.
I guess. Well, he also beat the shit out of him often, he said.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Not a good dad.
Not a good dad. No, he wasn't making this wasn't tough love. He was just a dick. He was just a drunken asshole.
Pushing kids around.
Yeah. So he went back to live with his mother after that. He basically just didn't go to school anymore. Just stopped going to school. Just had no interest in it.
At 11?
Around sometime
12,
here. We don't know the exact age, but way too early to stop going to school. Yeah. Didn't graduate middle school. Fuck high school. Yeah. So instead, he would play baseball or just hang out in pool halls. That's all. Just, that's what kids did a lot back then. That was the arcade for like the 80s kids. Like there was the pool hall was the 50s ones.
Well, and as you get into your drinking age, the pool hall was a cool place to be in the early 2000s too. Today it's not. I mean, have you been in one recently?
No.
It's pretty gross.
No,
it's pretty stupid.
Fun. It was a revival. The pool hall. There was an early 2000s pool hall revival.
Nice
it was decent.
A lot of fun.
I remember pool places popping up all over Phoenix and then disappearing 5 years later.
They're gone now.
And then they were turned into pool stores after that, but like actual pools with floaties and chlorine
furniture.
and shit. Yeah, patio furniture. So I think one actually did turn in from a pool playing to a pool supply. Yeah,
16th Street.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it would turn from one to the other, and I went, wow, that's the weirdest fucking thing ever. What are the odds? I literally was like, what are the odds? It's still a pool place. It's cool. So that's where he's hanging out. And he would hang out. He would go to Burnett Field, which was the home of the Dallas Steers of the Texas League baseball team. And the Texas League was a pretty big league back then, too. That was a big minor league.
That whole state has all kinds of shit that's just like an industry within the state. Like
it's so
comedy clubs.
It's so big. That's why.
Yeah. Music venues. You don't have to leave the state and you can make a living.
Massive size of the state. And there's such different markets.
Right. And it's because there's so much distance between them all. You can have a different market elsewhere.
Well, we've heard of like the comics like back in the 70s and 80s and shit. Some of the comics that came up in Texas. They basically just did a Texas loop.
Yep.
Every fucking
El Paso, San Antonio,
all around.
Dallas, Houston, and it was just a big circle.
Keep on going. Austin was in there too. Yeah, they've got a big circle.
One weekend a month, and all of a sudden your month is full.
That's it.
And you don't have to leave, and you make 80 to 100 grand a year.
Well, it's the size of like half of Europe, so it's it's a lot.
Jesus,
it's a huge
man,
area.
Flying from
we gave
Arizona
them too much.
to Texas takes as long as it takes to fly from Arizona to Seattle.
We gave them too much. That's what it is. We gave them too much. Start splitting it up, giving it to other states. New Mexico, you get a little of this. Oklahoma, you get a little bit of this. We'll do it from there.
And they're all, they've got enough. We should just make Texas more than one state. It's crazy.
There we go.
How much it is.
It's too much. It's too much state. I'm sorry. It's just too much state. Hank said the Dallas Steers would let him shag fly balls in the outfield during batting practice, which a lot of minor league teams do sometimes. They'll let kids go out and shag fly balls.
That's fun.
And occasionally they'd even let him throw batting practice.
Throw batting practice. Really?
Pitch
He's got
batting
that
practice.
Good of an arm.
That's pretty good. He just wanted to play baseball. That's all he did. He would play in pickup games, sandlot games, recreation leagues, church leagues, anywhere there was baseball going on. And back then, this was like the time of like every fucking park and sandlot had a game going on in baseball, and all the kids were playing baseball, and it's a big deal. This isn't like now where kids only play in like crazy competitive leagues or that's it. They don't play for fun anymore.
And it costs their parents $10 grand a year.
And they have to travel all over the place. It's fucking insane. And if
I don't know how people do it.
And if your kid's going to play in the major leagues, that's what they have to do. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
That's the fucked up part because you're competing with kids from other countries that's all they do.
All they do, yeah.
Kids in the Dominican, that's all they do is play baseball. That's it. Yeah. So your kid...
They don't even go to school.
No, your kid dicking off on a fucking Little League team playing twice a week ain't going to cut it later on.
And dicking off 7 hours a day in a school, that's crazy.
Fucking off learning math and shit.
Fucking morons.
Man. So he said, by the way, when he's doing this, he's a teenager. He's hanging out at pool halls, looking for sandlot games, doing whatever he can do. And it's at this point, about 15 years old, he starts drinking. And this will be a problem for him for the rest of his life.
Oh, boy.
Huge problem. And later on, he was asked, why'd you start drinking and why'd you keep drinking? And I love his answer because it's the most basic fucking answer.
Are they the same
ever.
answer, beginning and continuing?
No, he says he just liked the taste of alcohol. Just like the taste of alcohol. That's it.
Yeah.
No.
And I still do.
He likes the taste of booze, he says, and not the feeling or the effect, just the taste of it. It's delicious. It's Gatorade to me.
That's a psychotic answer.
That's a crazy answer for that shit. Yeah. Anyone who's like, I just love the taste of bourbon, put that person in a fucking institution. No, they don't. Like, I'll drink scotch once in a while. It doesn't taste good.
No, the idea is to get the one that hurts the least.
Exactly. This one tastes the least bad of all of these. Right. My face, I go, less when I drink this.
I don't make a face when I swallow this. I'll drink this one.
This doesn't give me a headache in an hour. That's all there is to it. That's never, I like the taste of this. That's fucking horrifying.
If you water down a really good bourbon enough, though, it's really like a... Fuck, man, it's like leather. It's like that nice.
Oh, it's not bad. Yeah, if it's enough water in it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I mean, you do that with anything.
And that's and I'm a piece of shit too. I'm not like a classy guy. Like I'll get like for Christmas, someone will buy me like a good bottle of scotch, like an 18-year-old single malt or something, and I will absolutely put it on rocks. Like I'm not.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it neat. It's too much. I'm going to let it melt for a couple minutes. It's going to be cold and watered down, and that's how I'm drinking it. I'm not a fucking...
You put enough water on Jack Daniels, and you can swallow that.
Ow,
it's not so bad.
It goes right down, yeah. You got to just dilute it a bit. You know, you can drink bleach if you put enough water in it. I'm sure. It's not that bad, right?
But if you just neat Jack Daniels, holy fuck? Why don't you just slam your dick in a screen door?
Oh,
How do you
man.
do that to yourself?
When we were on stage in Phoenix, Larry gave us shots. What the hell was that he gave us?
I think that was Makers. It was pretty decent. It wasn't
okay,
so
I was going to say, that wasn't horrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was Makers.
It's not my thing to do, but it was a nice thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the word. I was like, oh, God, I don't even know what this is. This is going to be horrible. And I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. So good.
Right.
All right.
If they'd thrown a little bit of water in that, we could have fucking shot those all night.
All
Shit.
night. Line them up. Line them up. Let's do it.
And
that
that's how
fine.
my liver went bad.
So soon a local semi-pro Negro League team, or not Negro League team, but a team, all-black team, recruited him at 15 years old.
Okay.
So-
All-black team, but not in a Negro League.
Not
Got
in
it.
that, not in the Negro League, in a Negro League, a semi-pro Negro League. So he also reportedly played for several local amateur and semi-pro teams in the Dallas area during the time too. He's just playing as much baseball as he can. He played. It looks like he played for the Dallas Green Monarchs during the 1941 and 42 seasons. Later on, as he's 16, 17 years old. He's playing for them, which was a known team. In 1942, he met Bonnie Serrell, who was not a woman, by the way. It was a baseball player for the Kansas City Monarchs.
That's a fella.
Yeah. You're like, oh, he met his
fella
wife.
named
That's
Bonnie.
nice. That's nice. No, he doesn't. He met a fella named Bonnie, a very, very sexy man named Bonnie, who was a star for the Kansas City Monarchs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know them.
So the following spring, the traveling secretary of Kansas City sent Hank a train ticket to the Monarchs spring training camp in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And said, come on down. So in 1943, he's only 17 years old. He is signed by the Kansas City Monarchs, which was
Great.
one of the major teams of the Negro Leagues, Negro League at that point. And the Monarchs they're a very well-known team. If you watch The Sandlot ever, that's the hat the black kid's wearing is the Kansas City Monarchs. Great shit.
And that's where the museum is at, and they've got so much Kansas City Monarchs shit in there.
It's a huge deal.
And the museum is dominated because the Monarchs were champs a lot. It's
Satchel
dominated
Paige
with
played for
amazing,
him.
amazing Monarchs players.
All sorts of shit. So he immediately became the team's starting right fielder.
Okay.
And in the majors, he'll play third base a lot. I think that's his main position. But if you can hit, they were going to find a place in the field for you. And if they had a starting third baseman, you're playing right field now. So, which third base and right field kind of, that makes sense because
they interchange, sure.
Well, they're both big arm positions. They're both.
Oh, yeah.
Need a cannon from third, you need a cannon from right. So you can kind of interchange those a little bit. So any of those left side of the infield guys like.
Not just a cannon, but like a cannon on target, too.
Like
right,
Gary,
fuck, man, you got to blast it in.
Guys like Gary Sheffield was a shortstop third baseman when he first came in. They moved him to right field, guys like that. So that's what he's doing. He admits that by the age of 17, when he's playing for the Monarchs, he's already a full-blown alcoholic, which is great.
already has the shakes in the morning.
Wow, at 17. He should be a junior. Like, this is a lot.
Yeah, he's got a goddamn job and an alcohol problem.
He's got like 35-year-old problems. You throw a couple of kids in there, this guy is 40.
And a pain in the ass wife or an ex-wife, for Christ's sake.
You throw a couple kids in there, he's us. What's going on?
Pretty shocking.
What's going on here? So, 17, he's an alcoholic. Real nice. 1943, Kansas City Monarchs, they're 44-27 over that span. 44-27-1, actually. But, we'll let the one slide for now.
Sure. Sometimes there's a rain out.
Well, a lot of times, too, it's curfew. Because this is pre-lights, so you got it goes to that. And if they weren't playing again that season, then that would be that. So a couple of Hall of Famers on his team: Willard Brown, Hilton Smith, and then two probably most famous Negro League players of all time, Satchel Paige and Buck O'Neil, are both on the team.
Unbelievable.
Not too shabby. Yeah, if you're going to go start with a team.
Satchel Paige on any team.
You're
Shit.
17 and you're watching Satchel Paige and Buck O'Neil play every day.
Shocking.
That's a pretty good education. And I'm looking at the rest of the team, and the youngest person besides him on this team is 23.
He's got 6 years before he's the before he's even second youngest.
Yeah. Think about socially how hard that would be.
Yeah.
You're 17, and the youngest is 23, and there's not a bunch of 23-year-olds. There's
I'm sure there's not.
3 23-year-olds, and there are, a good number of these people are over 30. Yeah. 30, 42, 29, 28, 31, 42, 31, 35, 29, 29, 31, 35, 36, 34, 36, 37. These are men who are playing to feed their families. It's a different level of need to.
And a guy that's got 2.5 years minimum before he's not a teenager.
Before he's not a teenager. Yes. Exactly.
Wow.
They always say that's why, certain sports you can come in when you're younger and it's fine. Sure. Physically you match up. But the NFL, you can't start playing the NFL when you're 17.
You can't play when you're 19.
No. Physically, these are 30-year-old men who have mortgages, and they're paying 3 different mortgages for their different families and their kids. They're not letting you beat them out for a position. They will kill you
first. And
they've
got a concern about at least one organ or limb or muscle.
Something, yes. They have an injury that might end their career and ruin it all. So at 17, that's really rough, man. That is fucking crazy. By the way, there's a couple of people on this team, 3 different people with unknown birth dates.
I love that.
That's fucking wild.
I can't love that more. That's so fucking amazing.
That is goddamn amazing. The veterans all called him Youngblood. That was his name, which is not a big stretch. This year, in his first year, he played in 40 games, had 130 at-bats, hit .315.
Golly.
6 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, 14 ribbies, 2 steals. Goddamn, 314 is pretty goddamn impressive.
In a league where there was so much talent.
It's a very elite league.
It's crazy, yeah.
The only thing is, a lot of times there would be the same. You're playing against tired pitchers a lot too, which is the way they played the games was different. Sometimes they played more than 2 games in a day. It would be So sometimes one pitcher would pitch 2 out of the 3. Crazy.
I forget, was it 3 or 4 games that the guy played in one day? The stories in that museum are fucking mind-blowing.
It's crazy. Yeah, I've
read
the greatest
place.
So many books, and it's fucking interesting.
I wish. I don't wish I was alive back then, because that is a hard time to live.
You'd have been in a war.
But just for right, I wouldn't have been able to watch. But the history alone involved in it is amazing.
No shit.
I'd have been
really
busy.
Very busy fighting Germans.
Being kicked off a boat in the middle of freezing ocean.
So 17 years old, hitting .314 in a major professional league. Awesome. Playing with Satchel Paige and having Buck O'Neill call you Youngblood. I'm going to say it right now. Grace. That's grace. It can't get any cooler than that if you're 17,
awesome
right?
Is that? Yeah.
You're the coolest 17-year-old on earth at that point.
Absolutely.
That is fucking cool. Then December 15th, 1943. This is a week after his 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And, man, this is war really ramping
bombs
up.
are going off, man.
This is a lot. I think that's probably why a lot of the guys on the team are older, by the way, and not
because they can't get drafted.
Not a lot
They're
of
too old.
Exactly. Not a lot. Well, look at the major leagues at that time. The Browns went to the World Series, who were like a perennial last place team.
Yeah,
because everybody else had their good players and
their
overseas.
Best ones were drafted. Yeah.
Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams are overseas, and all of their guys are still here because they had
somebody named Fred Simmons pitching.
Yeah, a guy with a little bit of enough of an injury to keep him out of the Army, but enough to make him a half decent baseball player. So on this day, December 15th, 1943, Hank Thompson is arrested in Dallas. For larceny of less than $50.
That's a lot. That's a whole car, man.
Say. Yeah, you could buy a house for $50 back then. Stealing $20 was a big deal back then. Yeah, that's like stealing $500, or some crazy shit.
That's a month's fucking pay.
Oh, that's big. That's absolutely. So then he ended up going into the military, which a lot of these guys did at this point. Ball players or not, if you were able-bodied and of age, you were going over.
18, yeah, right.
You were fucking going over. So as soon as he turned 18. That happened a lot, and he both and the Negro Leagues and the major leagues, everybody there. The Monarchs lost Willard Brown, Joe Green, Connie Johnson, Buck O'Neill, Ted Strong, and Hank Thompson all to the military.
They all went,
all to the military. Yeah, which Buck O'Neill was 36 years old at this point or something. What the hell was he doing? Or 31. What,
He must have been a specialist of something.
I guess, or he wanted to. He might have signed up. A lot of the guys volunteered.
Don't even give me a gun. I'll just bring my bat.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got to beat the shit out of these fucking goddamn German bastards over there.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He spent most of the next 2 years in the military serving as a machine gunner with the 1,000 or the 1695th Combat Engineers.
Yeah.
In which all the soldiers were black and most of the officers were white Southerners. So that must have been a lot of fun.
Boy, is that fucking...
Jesus Christ.
What did we really do that?
Let's go, everybody. We're going to call this Plantation Europe, everyone. Come on now. The fuck are you doing here? This led
Operation Dixieland.
Yeah. Operation the Krautzer Cotton. Get them.
Operation Cottonhead.
That's it. Get them.
Oh, boy.
So, unsurprisingly, this led to racial tensions within the unit, obviously.
Amazing.
That's strange.
That's crazy.
Strange, 80 years after the end of the Civil War, that would cause problems.
Operation Antebellum was weird? Is that right?
Is that what you're going for now? So he was also drinking even more during this time.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Because now you're scared of being killed.
Right.
Now you have a reason to drink.
Not just the enemy.
Yeah. No, now you have a reason to drink. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
before you're
sure.
just dicking off. This is fuck. I'd be drinking my ass off here. He was inducted into the Army in March of 1944, and he ended up being discharged on June 20th, 1946, as a sergeant. So he made it up a rank there, or two ranks. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge, where he was wounded.
Really?
Yeah, that's how many fucking
a real
think about that.
One of the battles everybody knows.
Yeah, these guys back then, man, from the 40s and 50s, they came home with fucking shrapnel wounds.
Yeah, right.
And played baseball still, and came home from this and went right into play. Like, imagine just the mental part of that, of going from war to then, come on back, there you go, now you're center field for the Yankees, go play.
And if you don't hear from somebody in your family that's over there for 3-4 months, you don't know if the next person that you talk to is going to be somebody giving you horrible news, or if you're going to see the next person in uniform, maybe them or their superior telling you they're not coming back.
It's fucking nuts. I can't imagine if we told Juan Soto, yes, I know they gave you $700-something million,
right.
but you got to hold off on that for a couple years because you have to go fight the Japanese. What the fuck?
Hang tight. Syria is fucked up.
You know what I'm saying? That's what happened back then.
That's
though.
unbelievable.
It was wild.
Yeah. You might come back like Dottie Hinson's husband needing a crutch.
Yeah, he might come back like Bill Pullman limping in from the fucking...
Limp in, calling her, what do you call her, cowpoke or some shit like that?
Some shit like that. I don't remember what the hell it was.
Milkmaid, or I don't know what he called her. Some fucked up.
Get over here, milkmaid.
I think did he call her cowpoke? He called her some fucked up farmhand.
I haven't gotten any since that whorehouse in Okinawa. Come on over here.
Come over here, hayseed. Let's fuck,
go.
Or whatever he said.
Yeah, I think that's about right. That was the connotation anyway.
Come here, straw toothpick. Let's make out. What?
Holy shit. So in the service, at one point, he went AWOL on one occasion and spent time in the stockade for fighting on another occasion. He's drunk. Yeah. Let's be honest here.
And
AWOL
not taking any shit.
Yeah, AWOL because he was probably passed out somewhere.
Yeah, I wasn't even alert.
I didn't even know I was AWOL. Yeah, fuck. But on the battlefield, I guess he was a bad motherfucker. He was brave. Yeah. He won 2 medals for bravery and was promoted to sergeant. So good for him. He said that his military service was one of the highlights of his life. In an interview in 1965, he was asked about his military service and his participation in the Battle of the Bulge, and he said, quote, "If there was ever a moment that I did something for society, that was it. But you can't make it 3 good days. You can't make 3 good days balance off the rest of a man's life." Those are 3
days at the battle.
Battle of the Bulge. Yeah, that's all it was.
Wow.
Yeah, there's that's it. So
3 good days. My 3 best days were at the Battle of the Bulge.
He said that's the only time he was contributing to society is what he was getting at.
Wow.
The rest of the time,
my 3
he was
best days
drag.
were on the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah, shit.
Christ.
That is rough. When he is discharged, he's immediately returned to the Monarchs and starts playing second base.
Hell yeah.
For the Monarchs, and this is in the midst of capturing the league title that year as well. So not bad. There's 60, 19, and 2 that year, which is
not bad.
Killing it. That is
really
great.
Yeah.
They lost the World Series though 4-3 against the Newark Eagles, who I believe had Larry Doby playing for him at that point, and a couple other guys like that.
Yeah.
Larry Doby's the first Black American League player.
Okay.
Which is incredible.
And he was in before Jackie Robinson.
No, Jackie Robinson came first.
Okay. So he
and then
the
like 2 weeks later, Larry Doby. Yeah. So he had to go through all the exact same shit Jackie Robinson went through, except got none of the credit for it. And that guy's the most underrated cat there is, man.
Is he an inferior player too?
No, I mean, he's a great player. Jackie Robinson was
He's different.
He was different. He played so fucking fast and hard and just played a different style of ball. Sure. But Doby was a fucking great player, too. They were just different types of players, so it's hard to do that. But anyway, they lost that year still. But, I mean, good year. Not bad. They still have Buck O'Neil and Satchel Paige and Hilton Smith Hall of Famers on the team. And now Hank's 20. So, I mean, he's still the youngest guy on the team by a long shot. But, I guess he's probably a little more thought of as an adult now that he just came back from the war.
Well, yeah, he's got some adult problems now, that's for sure.
A little bit.
He's certainly got a reason to drink.
No shit. He's hitting leadoff for the Monarchs that year. And he, 1946? Let's see. Yeah, he hit .264 that year with 1 home run, and this is only 99 or 91 at bats, so not very much. Oh, that's the postseason. I'm sorry. Regular season, he hit .296.
Not bad.
Only 7 games, though, because he came at the end of the year. So, yeah. Okay. After the 1946 Negro League World Series, Satchel Paige formed an all-star team that barnstormed against a white team. And this has been going on since the teens. They've been doing this. Babe Ruth was a huge doer of these. He would take Lou Gehrig with him too sometimes, but a lot of times he would go into these towns, and he was famous for...
And that's where you made the money, man.
Oh, it was all money. He was famous for paying all the Negro League players that they play against out of his pocket, paying them more than they got paid.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like he'd bring like an extra fucking few $1,000s to hand out to them for playing. So
nice.
It was cool. He was known as being a decent guy like that. This team had a kind of Buck O'Neil and guys like that. Hank Thompson's playing third base on the team. So, a lot of people here. Bob Feller's team had Bob Lemon, Phil Rizzuto, Charlie Keller, Mickey Vernon, Stan Musial, guys like that. Okay. So a lot of Hall of Famers on both sides of that one playing.
No kidding.
Huge. The tour started at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh on September 30th with a 3-0 win by the Bob Feller All-Stars. Over the 1946 tour, some of the stadiums and cities where they played at Yankee Stadium. They played in Baltimore, Columbus, Dayton, Comiskey Park, Kansas City, Wichita, Wrigley Field, Long Beach, California, Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, which was the original Wrigley Field where the Hollywood Stars played, and then San Diego also.
And that was where, I mean, it's the start of the All-Star game. It actually was a big fucking deal for this game to come through.
Oh, it was, this is what you wanted to see. There's a great ball players you're getting to see here.
Yeah.
And I have a thing of their attendance, too. They drew crowds, man.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for
awesome.
This is a time where games are being played during the day on weekdays. So if you look at old pictures of ball games, unless it's a World Series game, the fucking stands are 2/3 empty.
Yeah,
because they're playing at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
So anybody who can afford to go is at work. Work or school or something like that. It's a very strange deal there. The tour here, and this is fucked up because this guy's an asshole. The tour was abruptly cut short on October 26th before all the games could be played when Major League Baseball Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who's a complete asshole, fucking douchebag, and just a real shitty racist too, just a dick, ordered the tour stopped. Stupid. But it was still very successful. It was a good deal here. Absolutely. Over the tour, a lot of people got to be seen also. A lot of these players got to be seen. They drew 27,462 people in Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
Which is great. 22,577 in Los Angeles. Then they were back at Yankee Stadium drawing 22,000, 21,000 at Comiskey Park, 13,000 at Newark. So, I mean, it was pretty great.
Doing great. Yeah.
Bob Feller made $80,000 for the Barnstorming Tour.
Oh, my
Which
God.
This is when salaries for baseball players, I think the minimum was $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
So
making nothing.
Great players made $40,000 back then. The best per year playing the whole season. Bob Feller made $80,000 just for that. Just for fucking a few dates. I mean,
fantastic.
That's where the money was. He said, I guess they said Sam Jethro, who's one of the Negro League players, gave Feller a huge amount of credit for the tour. He said he gave us a chance to show what we could do against major leaguers.
Yes, sir.
Which made the major leagues go, oh, all right, these guys can play.
They're as good or better than most of us.
What the hell's going on here? So after this, Hank journeys down to Cuba to play third base for the Havana Reds in the Cuban Winter League.
Okay.
And this is when Cuba was considered a party destination.
Yeah.
This is when it was casinos and it was some Riviera place to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? The
Savannah Bananas, obviously they rhyme, but Havana had a baseball team and they didn't go with the fucking bananas?
No, and I think they grow bananas on Cuba.
Right,
too,
that's my point. It's a tropical place. I don't think a single banana grows in fucking Georgia.
Well, I think you don't want to be known as a banana. That's not really a manly thing. Yeah, whereas the Reds just mean you wear red clothes. It's like the Reds were the Red Stockings at first.
Right.
And then they were like, that sounds really like
Boston.
Also pretty gay, right? Do we sound?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but do we want to project gayness on everybody? Red stockings? That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound tough, is what I'm getting at. Doesn't sound real tough here.
He's got some fucking stockings under your pants. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it doesn't. I think people are going to get the wrong impression, is what I'm getting at. I just don't want them to.
Real thin material holding your balls up. Jesus, boys.
And by the way, a severely unpopular opinion as it might be, I cannot stand that Savannah Banana bullshit. I hate it with every fiber of my fucking being.
And I'm not far behind you.
I hate it. It makes me physically
it's an insult
angry.
to baseball, man.
You know what it reminds me of? Comic magicians from the 80s.
Because what they're trying to be is the Globetrotters, and the Globetrotters are
they had Wilt Chamberlain playing for them at one point. The Globetrotters had great players.
Talent. These are just fucking dorky
minor
white kids
leaguers.
Right. Dorky white kids named Preston that are doing a fucking TikTok jig. Stop it.
And they're like, yeah, but he caught it behind his back. Yes. And if you ask a major leaguer to do that, they go, why, number one. And then they go, okay, hit me the ball 3 times. And they'd be able to do it perfectly because they're better. Comic magicians are either a magician who is not the greatest magician, so they learn a couple of shitty jokes to make an act, or a comic who's not a great comic, so he learns a couple of fucking magic tricks. And that's what they did. They're not funny enough or talented enough to be on Broadway, and they're not fucking good enough baseball players to be in the major leagues. So let's all pay exorbitant amounts of money to watch them fuck off and do dumb shit and put the ball in their fucking shirt and whatever bullshit they're doing. I can't stand
Smack
it.
Somebody with a banana.
Holy fucking shit! It makes me so. I see yellow when I see not red.
James. They're fucking traveling.
They're a huge draw. Huge draw. They sell out. You got to buy their tickets like a year in advance.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And you couldn't pay me enough to watch that game because I would rush out on the field and fucking beat somebody.
I wouldn't go watch the Globetrotters today.
No.
Because they got nobody. They got nobody that's, Meadowlark was in there. And that was great. That was fun. You had people that were recognizable. They don't have stars anymore.
Back then, there wasn't a lot of options for professional basketball to play. They had the NBA, which wasn't a big deal like it is now, and the guys didn't get paid jack shit. And then there was a couple of like the Eastern League and leagues like that. So the Globetrotters was where you made money. That's why the guys did it back then. Nowadays,
they started that because of the Negro Leagues, because of the clowns, which were doing fun things, but they were recognizable people. Name a Savannah Banana, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Fucking didn't Hank Aaron play for the Clowns?
I think, yes, he did. He definitely did.
There you go. Yeah. I know Wilt Chamberlain played for the fucking...
he did. 100%.
Connie Hawkins played for the Globetrotters. I could name 15 NBA Hall of Famers that played for them. So a little bit different.
You got a bunch of 5'6", HGH up white guys with great 6-packs for Instagram and TikTok on the
nice
bananas.
Smiles.
Yeah.
Your headshot shouldn't be the main reason of why you're making a ball team or not.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Why do you Dougie better than you throw from shortstop, motherfucker?
That's not good. Oh, God. So he played in a 66-game season in Cuba there in the Winter League. And the highlight here was opening the stadium in Habana. Cuban baseball entrepreneur Roberto Maduro spent $2 million on the new stadium, which back then was a fucking astronomical amount of money to spend on it.
That's a crazy amount of money to me, but to build a stadium, that's nothing.
That's nothing. That's who got it. They're $1 billion now.
Yeah.
Game 1 of the Cuban Winter League season was a sellout. So, I mean, they were doing great. That year, he hit .320 down there with 4 home runs in 225 at-bats, 32 RBI, so not bad at all here. He was one of the top hitters in the league, .453 slugging percentage, too. Wow. And he led the Cuban League with 6 triples. And, he was great. He was given the name, fuck, I don't know how to pronounce that.
It's Español,
it's a long one, too. Yeah. It means machine gun, essentially, because of his hard-hit balls that sprayed over the field here. So that's what they called him. Mm-hmm. Machine gunno, yeah. Spanish for the black machine gun. So he was selected as an all-star down there as well. Yeah. So very well. So then he goes to play for Venezuela as well, which... In the off-season, guys used to do that all the time, especially young guys. They'd go play the Dominican League, the Venezuelan leagues, all that kind of thing. So, he goes down there and plays. They already had a pretty strong team, and he joined the team and did goddamn well. Not too bad at all.
Negro Diamante down there with him, probably
I don't know. I don't know who's on his team here. Not sure. Ducky Davenport was down there. Sure. I know that much. They just say the players, the American guys they signed.
Oh, okay.
So 1947, he is going to be back to the Kansas City Monarchs. They go 62-36 that year and finish second in the American League. Wow. They, Willard Brown, Buck O'Neil still playing, Satchel Paige still playing at 40. Yep. Jesus Christ. They got a guy named Cannonball Berry. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That's a fucking cool name. I like that. So
they all had killer names, man.
Oh, because it was all nicknames back then.
Yeah, right.
Because there's no TV, so the writers had to figure some way to make them colorful, so they gave them nicknames. That's how it worked.
And they all had cool nicknames.
Yeah.
Even the girls had better nicknames. Like,
fuck yeah.
It's just such a great fucking time. I don't want anything to do with it because there's no air conditioning and everything sucked.
The food was terrible, by the way.
Yeah, bad food. Everything was expensive. No air conditioning. Everybody's miserable, uncomfortable, and wearing wool.
Watch Mad Men and watch what they're eating, and you go, God, what were you people fucking eating back then? What's wrong with you? So on opening day of the 1947 season, Jackie Robinson of the Brooklyn Dodgers became the first black guy in the major leagues, and then about 3 months later, Larry Doby came in, and prompting the Browns, the St. Louis Browns, who were in last place always, and nobody came to watch their fucking games. They tried to capitalize on this, so they were like, all right, this makes sense here, I guess. So Hank Thompson and Willard Brown were signed, and then just thrown it. This is the difference. So yeah, Jackie Robinson got signed. They put him. He was in the minors at first with the Montreal Royals and all of that kind of thing. Hank Thompson and Willard Brown, they just threw them right into the lineup of one of the worst teams there is. They're going.
Whoops.
So that was really hard. I guess, and Hank is a huge alcoholic and also known as a bit of a hothead also.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's drinking all the time. He's fighting in the Army. He's been in the stockade, for Christ's sake. Browns manager Muddy Rule, Jesus Christ, was vocal about not wanting the two players on his team as well. So that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. Mm-hmm. So during an interview with the Washington Afro-American in 1950, Thompson said, quote, "No one on the club would have anything to do with us. They wouldn't speak to us and they wouldn't even warm up with us. If Brown wasn't around and I asked another player to warm up with me, he'd just shake his head."
Dude.
Yeah, the manager fucking told everybody not to welcome these guys, basically. And
what a fucking stain on American history, man. It's so
shitty.
Insulting.
Well, it's just so shitty, too.
Yeah.
When it's one thing if it's okay, how do I put this?
Sorry.
No. It's insanity that they would do something that was a detriment to themselves.
Right.
Because they were so full of fucking hate that they were like, even if that makes me a better manager and gets me more money, I still don't want them here.
Can't do it.
Think about that. Even in terms of selfishness, that's more important to you. That's
because my daddy would be mad at me because you're a grown man and call your dad's guy.
And your name is Muddy.
Creep.
So who the hell are you?
Fucking creep.
Jesus Christ. So I guess they got the guys too. They got them cheap. They got them for $5,000 a piece from the Monarchs and put them right in there. Thompson was playing second base and batting seventh, and in his first game, he went hitless in 4 at-bats and had an error, and they got crushed 16-2 by the Athletics, which was very normal for the Browns to be crushed like that by the Athletics.
But that's not helping.
No, it's not helping.
Public perception and feeling.
No, it's not. That's not exactly making your presence felt in a good way. The Browns that year were 59-95.
Wait a minute.
Bad.
Get out of here. Is that right?
Team. 59-95. Real shit team. Yeah, not good at all. Okay, here. Now, on this team, by the way, there's some salaries listed. The highest paid player on the team appears to make $18,000.
Jesus.
So that's what we're talking about.
And it's not necessarily that they're cheap. It's that they don't have any fucking money.
There's not a lot of revenue. There's no TV money. The only thing coming in is tickets. That's it.
It's hard to pay when you got nothing.
That's the problem here. So, and the owners were cheap cunts too, but still, they wasn't like they weren't making billions of dollars by any stretch of the imagination. He does well that year. He hits for both St. Louis and Kansas City that year. He hit 311 combined, so not bad. And they also thought it was like the Browns owners thought it was like, oh, this is something that'll get just news drummed up. We got a couple of players from the other league, and maybe that'll do something here. According to St. Louis general manager Bill DeWitt, he said, quote, "They failed to reach major league standards," he said, because Thompson and Brown are released on August 23rd after a game against the Philadelphia Athletics.
Oh, so the players didn't pan out?
No. He's saying
the major leagues.
No, he said they just weren't good enough. He said they weren't good, is what he said, which is total horseshit.
It's bullshit, according to numbers.
For the Browns, he hit 256, which I bet there's guys with lower batting averages on the team.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not bad at all. So they would have had to apparently. The way the deal with the Monarchs worked is they would have had to give them the Monarchs an extra $5,000 each to extend the length of them. So they just sent them back. They're just cheap, basically.
That's what it is.
And so they were like, yeah, they didn't reach our standards, rather than saying we didn't feel like paying $10,000 for these two guys again.
What they didn't reach was $10,000 worth of value to us, but that's what it is. It's not. They'd have to be fucking all-stars for the $10,000 to.
Yeah,
they'd have to outperform the dollar, and they didn't do that.
Because that plus their salaries. Now, this was their manager, Bill DeWitt. His name was. Later on, he'll own the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh,
he's a real trailblazer for Marge Schott, as we'll talk about here. When he owned the Reds in the '60s, he ordered Pete Rose to not hang around with the black ball players.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, in the 60s. And DeWitt made they made a bad trade, too. He sent Frank Robinson to the Orioles. So Frank Robinson's a fucking Hall of Famer, gold-plated Hall of Famer. Sent him to the Orioles for Milt Pappas, Jack Baldwin, and Dick Simpson.
Milt Pappas?
Milt Pappas, who was a decent player, but not Frank Robinson. If you watch... I think is it in the movie part or something else? Bull Durham, they mentioned Milt Pappas and Frank Robinson being a bad trade. So
it's too close to being Milk Pappas, which sounds disgusting.
Milt was actually a decent player, but Frank Robinson's a fucking Hall of Famer. I mean, there's no doubt there. After leaving St. Louis, Hank and Willard there returned to the Monarchs, and they had a negative thought of the major leagues.
Sure.
Yeah, they said they thought they were significantly better than a lot of their teammates, and they weren't allowed to play as much as they wanted to, and then they said they weren't any good when they were. So, Brown was quoted as saying that the Kansas City Monarchs team would have had no problem beating the Browns, which I'm sure was right. The Browns were fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. Now, prior to the 47-48 Cuban Winter League season, they wanted to his Cuban team wanted to get him again. They wanted Hank again. But another team signed him to be their starting third baseman here. So that was good for him. Now, there's two competing leagues in Cuba, I guess. First was the original Cuban Winter League, and the other was known as the Players Federation. So I guess they were competing for the best players. So you had salaries going up and up and up. That's how that worked down there. So you make some good money. He hit .318 down there.
Good.
Very good. He's 51 runs batted in, led the league.
Great.
So not shabby.
Just getting on base, but getting people in too.
Yeah, getting guys in there. Then he goes on down to Venezuela again and finished third in the league standings down there. 48, he's back up with Kansas City, going 67-34-3, first in the American League down there, but lost the championship series to the Birmingham Black Barons. So. Yes, this is under manager Buck O'Neill now, by the way. He took over as manager. He's I don't know if he's still playing. So he's still playing. Is
that the team that Jordan played for?
No. He played for Birmingham, the minor league White Sox team. But
aren't they called the Birmingham Red Barons?
Not the Black Barons. That was the Negro League.
Black
team.
Barons, I mean.
Black Barons. I don't think they're the Black Barons. I thought they weren't they Birmingham Bulls or some shit.
I thought it said Barons across his fucking
chest.
Maybe they said Bulls.
It might be the Birmingham Barons as a nod to
as a tribute to it, right?
To Black Barons. Yeah, definitely. That's a possibility for sure. So Hank is sometimes credited with leading the Negro League that year with 20 stolen bases, but other references say Sam Jethro had more. They didn't keep great stats in that league. Is one thing that was not great. So 1948, he plays in 47 games, that's as many as you could play that year. Yeah. He had 175 at bats, hit .337.
Nice.
Not too sure. Oh, was that the playoffs? No, that's that year. Okay, yeah, playoffs.
Wow.
Playoffs, he hit .231. Okay.
Uh-oh.
In 1948, the Dodgers and Indians had been the only two teams to employ black players at the major league level that year. But other teams are starting to see that Larry Doby and fucking Jackie Robinson are good ball players.
They're working out, yeah.
And they draw a fucking crowd, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the other thing. So now you're getting more black people buying tickets, too, which,
right.
I mean, if you're an owner and a business person, the only color you should give a fuck about is green.
That's it.
And yeah. Then on April 4th, 1948, so right as the season is starting, he is at the cusp of being a major leaguer again and doing all this type of thing. There's a problem. Well, kind of a big problem. Let's see. Dallas, Texas, this happened in.
Hell yeah.
I'll just read the newspaper article. Henry Hank Thompson, 23-year-old ex-St. Louis Browns infielder, is held under arrest here in connection with the slaying Saturday night of Fenley Crow.
What?
Thompson allegedly shot Crow, an itinerant laborer, in the stomach following an argument in a Fleming Street tavern. The victim was shot 9 times.
Imagine that.
He shot him 9 fucking times, not once.
At 23 years old, he's firing 9 rounds into a man. That's
in a bar.
That's so many rounds. You either reload it or that's a magazine.
That is fucking wild. Apparently the trouble arose, reportedly, when Crow interceded in an argument between Thompson and Thompson's sister, Helen. Uh-oh. What are you interceding in an argument between a brother and a sister? Yeah, you have no part of that. Then they both turn on you. That's how that works. You ever been involved in that? Hank recently returned from Havana, Cuba, where he played the Winter League Baseball. He's currently under contract to the Kansas City Monarchs. So that's not great at all. Now, right under this, though, is something that you could maybe use, everybody out there. The ads, Jimmie, the sales.
Hell yeah. Let's see it.
From 1948. Hide away gray hair with slick black.
Okay.
Let me show you
the ad.
Have
we talked about slick black before?
I don't think we have. Look at the ad.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like that.
No.
That is incredibly...
yes,
man,
that exactly what you just said.
So racist.
It is like a pencil sketch of a black guy with half his hair. Literally, you can see light reflecting in it. It's like so slick. It's like mannequin hair, and then the other half is like wavy and not black. And it says,
not nice, it looks like.
And look, it comes in like a shoe polish thing.
Yeah. One side is Clark Gable, and the other side is like a graying low afro of Richard Pryor. Which one would you rather?
I was going to say somebody we know is actually what it reminded me of.
Say him, fuck.
I don't want to give that guy a fucking
credit.
plug. A guy who ran bad comedy shows with 40 comics at them. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Looks just like him.
Looks just like him and paid off in pizza. That's the guy.
And then share a pitcher of beer.
Yeah, there you go, everybody.
Touch this that those gross fucks touched.
There, have that. These disgusting people.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the WWII app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on WWII Plus.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
So large box, though, only 50 cents. So black your hair on
all that, yeah.
50 cents for all that, yeah.
Chemical, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, my God. So apparently the problem here, the story comes out a little more later. He was on his way from Kansas City from their spring training base in San Antonio, where he stopped to visit his older sister, Margaret, and her husband.
Oh, no.
They went out to a local beer garden. They encountered Crow, who was nicknamed Buddy. Hank had played sandlot ball with Crow and knew him for years. That's the thing. He knows the fucking guy. He said he knew Crow to be a dangerous guy.
Oh.
So he said Crow threatened him with a knife. That's what happened. He said he threatened me with a knife, so he said he shot him 3 times across the chest with a .32 caliber automatic that he was in the habit of carrying.
Sure.
But the Dallas Morning Star and the Sporting News reported that Crow had been shot 6 times. The paper we just read was the Afro-American. That said he was shot 9 times, and Hank said he shot him 3 times. So I have no fucking idea how many times this guy was shot.
Did this place just take 2 stories and start adding numbers together?
I don't know.
He's probably shot fucking 9 times.
Back then, just legends grew. Who knows? So Hank left the bar not knowing if Crow had survived and just went and turned himself in the next morning when he found out he died.
Wow.
So, yeah, he was charged with murder. But his lawyer argued that the case was self-defense.
Right.
So he was released on $5,000 bond and went on to San Antonio. He shot a guy at least somewhere between 3 and 9 times.
And they sent him on his way. We'll deal with this later.
Yeah. So he pleaded not guilty and was released on bond. Lucky for him, in a couple years, he'll be playing for the New York Giants, who have a lot of pull, and they get him out of this. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. As soon as he signed with the Giants, pretty much, the police ruled the incident self-defense and dismissed it.
Crow's killing goes justified, I guess.
I mean, yeah, who knows if he pulled a knife. So according to those who knew Hank very well, they said this kind of fucked up his psyche a little bit here.
Sure.
They
Just
said
killed a man.
His demeanor changed, and he was said to have been a different man, which is interesting because he was a machine gunner in World War II, so he's killed many men. But this is up close and personal.
When your government tells you to go do it, it's got to feel, you got to be able to detach from that, right?
Well, it's like Sonny Corleone telling Michael, this isn't fucking war where you can take a rifle and shoot a guy from far away. You got to walk right up behind him and fucking pow, right? It's one of those things. It's very fucking personal here. He said in 1965, he was quoted as saying, 17 years later, and I still haven't gotten over it.
I believe it.
So, yeah, if you're a decent person, I would think that would be normal for you.
Do it,
yeah. So, in the Negro Leagues, he played 172 games and compiled a .344 batting average, which is not too shabby considering he wasn't even playing baseball for 2 years. He was in the goddamn military. So he said he was rusty when he first came back here. So in the winter of 48, he goes back to Cuba for a 3rd straight year. Why not? Go hang out down there. He played a 72-game season down there again. Keep sharp and do all that kind of thing. He led the league in runs, hits, triples, and slugging percentage.
Those are great columns to be in.
Those are all real good ones. That hit 321 as well. So
wow, goddamn
great. So he keeps playing and keeps coming back to Cuba, and they just fucking love him down there because he rips it up down there. Then, before the 1949 season, he signed as a free agent with the New York Giants.
Okay.
which was a big deal. And they'll have Willie Mays, and I believe next year, I think they get Willie Mays, and 50, I think they get him. So that's pretty goddamn cool. The Giants announced they signed Hank Thompson and Newark Eagles veteran star Monty Irvin, who's a great base stealer and great ball player, and also Monarchs pitcher Ford Smith to play for their Jersey City minor league club. And Thompson reportedly negotiated a $2,500 bonus for his signing.
Fantastic.
Which is big money back then. So pretty goddamn awesome. They start, all three of these guys start with the Jersey City Giants. And Thompson and Irvin fucking ripped up the league hitting-wise. Really did well. Irvin was the bigger name, but and a better player than Thompson down there. But Thompson hit .296 with 14 homers and a .447 on-base percentage, which is terrific. .565 slugging in 68 games. Real good. So both him and Irvin were called up to the Giants in July, and Hank bounces between shortstop and left field with Jersey Shitty. Took over the Giants' regular second base job. Okay. This guy would love to get a position, I would imagine,
Absolutely.
that he can just concentrate
Permanency, residency somewhere.
He hit .280 and had 9 homers in 75 games. So not too shabby. He was hitting leadoff at first, but then was moved to the third spot in the order late in the season when he got his shit together. Giants went 73, 81, and 2 that year. Holy shit, Leo DeRocher was their manager. Leo DeRocher's a psychopath. He is Billy Martin before Billy Martin.
Oh, terrific.
Fighting and shit. He's a crazy person. Who else is on this team? Monty Irvin, who's a Hall of Famer. Johnny Mize, who's a great player. He was a Hall of Famer on that team. A few of those guys if you're an old school baseball fan here. On June 1st of that year, he was hit in the head by a pitch ball.
No.
Yeah. And this is pre-helmets.
Right.
This is
baseball caps.
On the fucking head, yeah. Imagine if it hit the little ball thing on top of the hat. That'd be
Oh.
You hit your head on a car ceiling with one of those. It's, oh, God, Jesus, it drove into my brain.
It feels like it just went through your skull. Did it just hole punch my head? It hole punched me, didn't it?
Put your finger. See if you can touch brain.
Use your pinky. See if you can feel anything.
Just move it around a bit. So he spent a couple days in St. Francis Hospital, and he's going to be – this kind of starts the trend of him being injured a lot. And, often being – on the disabled list a lot here.
That was just life then. Like, as you age, like you could point to all kinds of parts of your body that had events and tell a story.
Well, this is when that happened. This is when the thresher got me when I was back on the farm.
This is where an 88-mile-per-hour fastball hole punched my head.
So June 9th, 8 days after he's beamed in the fucking head there, he is going to get married.
Okay.
He lost his fucking head for sure.
He sure did.
Now he's going to get married.
He's super scrambled. He's making bad decisions.
He's like, I'm going to marry a Cuban broad. Who he does.
I'll marry anybody.
I'll marry whoever.
A Cuban man. I don't give a shit.
Whatever. I don't know what she's got under there. He married Maria Caseta in Brooklyn. He met her in Cuba while playing winter ball.
Sure.
Which is nice. Real nice. John Henry Ford, who was a teammate, served as best man at the wedding down in Jersey City. He's one of his teammates down there. On the 23rd of June, though, he has another serious injury when he hurts his ankle in a game against the Buffalo Bisons in the minors down there. Okay. That'll keep him out of the lineup for a while. And, he's got a lot of injury problems. July 1st, 49, though, he is called up. Both him and Monty Irvin join the Giants on the 4th of July.
Hell yeah.
I think that's some symbolic shit they're trying to do there. On July 8th, both Thompson and Irvin integrated the New York Giants. They actually played. They actually got out there. Thompson was the starting third baseman, and Monty Irvin pinch hit in the 8th inning for them. And Hank's contract called for him to make $7,500, which the league minimum was $5,000. So he's making
real ball player money.
A little bit more. Yeah, he's doing great. Monty Irvin's going to become the second baseman. According to an interview with Monty Irvin about adjusting to life in the major leagues, he said him and Thompson had to adjust to 3 things in order to be successful.
Here we go.
He said get rid of what he called athletic rust. I guess playing sparingly.
Shake it off. Yep.
Getting used to not being the top player on the team, because when he came from, he was a top player, and learning quote, organized baseball's way of doing things, or as Irvin put it, needed to get comfortable with life in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
And that's not really on the field. That's more off the field. Baseball, nowadays, it doesn't really exist anymore. But for, decades, etiquette, weird little clubhouse rules that are unwritten were like such a huge thing. If you read Jim Bouton Ball 4, it's like, fuck, man, you'd need a handbook 3 inches thick to figure out all the little rules here.
Right. It's almost like the players that unwrote them were had some sort of like ailment. You know what I mean? Like if you come in the door, you got to open it 3 times before you walk in. Shit like that. They're like weird quirks.
Yeah.
They're almost quirks, but they're just to fuck with people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just to fuck with people. Yeah. So playing at the Polo Grounds was easier than when he was with St. Louis. He said St. Louis was really hard. The Polo Grounds are basically right next to Harlem. They're right there.
Yeah.
Harlem's right by there. So he said it was a black area, so he said that was easier. And Willie Mays said the same thing. There's tons of pictures of Willie Mays playing stickball with the kids in Harlem all the time. Yeah. He used to just go and play stickball with the kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So in addition, the Giants were managed by Leo DeRocher, who I guess he had been instrumental in getting Jackie Robinson up with the Dodgers. So he doesn't give a shit. He wants to win, Leo DeRocher. Doesn't care what fucking color you are. Winning is important here. Also, he said it helped having Monty Irvin as his teammate. He said Monty was 30 years old and more mature, and so he said whenever Hank got out of line, the other players said Monty was there to get on his case.
Yeah.
He was like assigned to him.
Mature guy that just like, who gives a shit about this little petty thing?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Nobody cares.
Yeah, because he's still only 24. I mean, he's still a young guy.
You're not changing the world. Stop it.
Absolutely. And also, Hank basically had a reputation as kind of a tough guy. He just killed a man within a year.
He's probably that's a legit killer.
Yeah, and he's been in the war, so I mean, they have respect for him as a person, basically. It was common knowledge that he carried a gun all the time, and he had just killed a man within the last year.
Down in Texas, in the Wild West.
Yeah, so they said teammates basically gave him, like, space, especially when he'd been drinking. They give him a
little bit of grace,
a little bit of a buffer. Yep, a wide berth. According to Monty Irvin, once the two showed up, showed that they could help the team, especially then Willie Mays joined in 1951, and it was like, yeah, these guys are good.
Yeah.
He said that once we put that uniform on, it wasn't between black and white. It was the Giants against the Dodgers.
There you go.
Name of the team on the front of your uniform mattered more than the color of your skin. Because they were put right in the middle of a big rivalry. So fans, they could be like, I don't want black guys playing. Guess what? When you hit a game-winning home run against the Dodgers, they don't give a fuck what you are. They love you now.
Yeah.
They don't go, fuck him. I wanted the Dodgers to win if our guy's going to hit it. That's not how it works.
And there is something to that when they don't put the name on the back of the jersey because that's not the name that matters or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when it's just – and it forces like –
the Yankees still don't have their names on the jerseys.
Yeah, right.
Never have.
Right. It's fucking awesome. That's
it's
the
an
point.
Interesting thing. Yeah,
because the name that matters is on the front. They know what team you're on. That's what matters.
But in marketing –
that matters.
That's what the problem is, yeah. It's a marketing thing there.
Yeah, the marketing matters too because people are burning a lot of jerseys today because Soto left the Yankees, and they're burning Clemens jerseys.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
It's not your jersey, man.
No, I had a Jason Giambi jersey. He left. It became a Mark Teixeira jersey. Terrific. Worked out great.
That's
amazing.
actually better marketing to me.
If you had a Chuck Knobloch jersey, then it became a Brett Gardner jersey. Even better. It's fucking awesome.
Your Robert Horry jersey doesn't matter.
Nope, that's
it's going to be somebody else's jersey next year when he leaves to go to the next team to break somebody else's heart.
Used to clean up spills now. That's what that is.
Yeah, right. I have a fucking a Walker jersey. I forget his first name. God damn it.
Antoine?
It doesn't matter. What is it?
Antoine?
No. From the Broncos. He was a receiver. He played for the Raiders and then went to the Broncos and then he went and then I think did he get shot? I don't remember. He got robbed in Vegas. I do know that.
Okay.
But he left Denver, and now I've still got this fucking jersey sitting in my closet from 2004.
That's a tough one, man. Yeah, football better be like a Hall of Famer that's still going to be evergreen or else you're fucked. Yeah.
But
you got an Elway, you can always wear that.
I'm ripping the nameplate off. I've always had the plan to rip the nameplate off it and just put a Shannon Sharp name on it because it's Shannon Sharp's fucking number. And there's no reason they should ever let anybody wear that number.
That's fucking, yeah. Well, football, if they retire too many numbers, they're going to run out.
Yeah.
There's 50-something guys on the team.
Yeah, you only get a few for each position.
Yeah. The Yankees got to start worrying about that. Even with the baseball team, it's like, there's like 26 numbers retired now. Can we, at some point, we got to stop.
76 more.
Jesus Christ. And all of them from like 1 to 20, there's like 3 numbers left, I think.
Right.
So when they arrived, the black players, Leo DeRocher said that he had a meeting that day.
Yeah.
And said, quote, "This is all I'm going to say about race. I don't give a damn what color you are. As long as you play good baseball, you play on this team. We got Monty and Hank here. They got good credentials. I'm sure they'll help us get out of 5th place. We're all one team." And that was it. And Leo DeRocher was the type of guy, nobody challenged Leo DeRocher. He would attack you physically. Like the number of stories of him attacking players of his own in the fucking clubhouse is remarkable. He will attack you with a fucking bat. So he did well, though. He had a few games going 3 for 5, 2 for 4, 4 for 5 one game with 2 singles, a double, a home run. Did great. I mean, he was doing pretty good that year. He hit 280 altogether for the Giants.
Yeah,
and 275 at bats. So, not bad. I mean, you can't ask for a lot more than that. In 1950, they held their spring training in Phoenix, the Giants, and then stayed there. Yeah.
And now they haven't left.
They have never left. And they said living conditions in Phoenix were better for Thompson and Irvin than when they were in Florida. Because Phoenix was nothing really also.
Dry and wide the fuck open. You could get in so much trouble and nobody will fucking know.
Well, also in Florida, they still had segregated stuff in Florida.
Oh,
shit was segregated. It's the South in Florida,
Right.
whereas in Arizona, it's the West. Nobody cares what you do.
Right. And the 50s may have been it may as well have been 1850 because nothing populated Arizona until the goddamn 70s.
Totally, and even then it was small.
Right.
So, like Thompson and Irvin were allowed to stay in the same hotel as the rest of the team in Phoenix, so they liked that.
Yeah.
In Florida, they weren't allowed to, which is fucking crazy. This is when the Giants shifted Thompson to third base here because Eddie Stanky was playing second.
Old Stanky.
Old Stankster here. March 15th, 1950, there's a big article. Thompson's arm passes first test with Giants. Okay. It says Hank Thompson leaned against the batting cage, his white teeth gleaming in the Arizona sunlight.
All right.
It's no wonder he was grinning broadly. The Giants had been at work for 5 days, and Hank had yet to feel the slightest trace of the miseries in his arm that almost ruined his freshman season a year ago. So his arm is cured, basically. Yeah. He said that he's confident, he's ready to go.
Can't get over how ivory those teeth look in a black face. That's
amazing. Black face, white teeth, bright sunlight.
God damn, man. We get it. He's a black guy. Take it easy.
Oh, shit. He said, I've thrown hard and often in the last few days, and I haven't had a bit of pain yet. There was some stiffness, and I've had it in the whirlpool bath a couple of times, but that's only natural after a winter of inactivity.
Right.
He said, I was some worried when I boarded the Giant train at Kansas City en route to Phoenix because I hadn't thrown a ball since the last day of the 1949 season at Boston, and I had no idea if I was all right again. Now I'm 90% sold on the belief that it's sound and strong again. I've been making these long throws across the diamond, and it hasn't bothered me yet. So, very good. Yeah. He's playing third base, and Leo DeRocher said why he's better at third than he was at second. There's a reason for it, too. At second, he was inclined to let the ball play him at times. You could see him backing up now and then, but at third, you can't afford to do that. He charges those balls like a cat, and he has a sure pair of hands. What's more, he's been throwing better than he ever did last year. Okay. So, very good. So, Leo DeRocher likes you. You're fucking golden.
Sure.
Not
a word about his teeth. That was nice, Leo.
Yeah, he said his teeth, I don't care about him at all.
Couldn't give a fuck if he has any.
Thompson's hitting cleanup, too, here.
Okay.
Which isn't too shabby. And if he has, I got an idea for him. His arm feels okay. But what if he has a hernia, Jimmy? What's he going to do then? Wow.
Have you got a cure-all, James?
He's going to go visit this guy.
Oh, yeah. Is that guy in Phoenix?
H.B. Sykes.
Jesus.
To neglect your hernia or rupture is far worse than driving on a flat tire. Tires can be replaced, but your body cannot.
That's true. If you keep working on a hernia, that thing's just going to rip further, and
that's it.
Alien's going to keep coming out of your chest.
He said, common sense demands you give your hernia or rupture immediate attention. Procrastination often leads to strangulation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
If you wait too long, if you sit and it tries to heal, it'll choke off the guts that are sticking out of that hole. It's fucked up, man. Hernias are terrible.
That's an awful thing. People
really
have them for
gross.
years, though.
Yeah, my grandpa had 2 at the same time.
Yeah, I had a grandpa that had one too all the time.
Yeah?
What is up with that?
Well,
they were doing labor.
Ew, what is that? Jesus.
They were always doing labor. That's why.
Yeah, he was a welder. He's busy.
My grandfather, barber, 6 days a week, fucking 12 hours more a day, and then he'd be off on his one day, and he would just do yard work. I think because he just hated my grandmother, so they didn't get along. So he was just like,
busy. Yeah.
I'll be outside drinking scotch in the garage and then raking the leaves, because that's pretty much what he did.
I'll be outside getting a hernia.
Yeah, it's preferable to you. Bye. He said, let us prove what we can do for you. 30-day trial, refund in full if not satisfied. Sykes Hernia Control Service.
What is his service? Is it a fucking surgery?
It's not a surgery.
It's not fixing anything.
A 30-day trial doesn't... No, that's surgery, it's one and done.
My friend, you have to tuck that shit in and stitch it shut. That's the problem. A pill's not going to do it.
Right under that, help wanted, boys, in all capital letters.
Oh, no.
To sell popsicles from carts.
I don't like this.
Not good. And all the ads back then, too, like in the old TV guides, it would be like, boys, start your own business, sell TV guides. Boys, deliver newspapers. Like,
Come
girls,
over, I'll show you how it's done.
Girls, you're too fragile to throw a newspaper on someone's porch, basically.
But that ad feels very white van. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Boys,
to sell popsicles
do you
from
like
carts?
popsicles?
Hey, kids, suck on this popsicle for me, would you?
Hey, Chris, I got some popsicles.
$4 per day, Chris. $4 per day, guaranteed. Health certificates require. Apply in person. Jesus.
Health certificates. I need you healthy, too? I don't like this at all. This is creepy.
I think that's so you know how to... I think that's from the city, like a license to sell food
but
type
it
of
sounds
thing.
like I
a
need
food server's card.
I
or
need you to
something.
not have herpes when you get in my van.
Please, no open sores, please. In the field this year, by the way, Hank Thompson participated in 43 double plays and 138 appearances at third base, breaking Pie Trainer's 25-year-old National League record for double plays by a third baseman.
The record.
So that record stood until 1974 when Darrell Evans broke it with 45. So not too shabby. 1950 New York Giants 86 and 68 for third in the National League. So they did get him out of fifth place. Not too shabby here. He does good. He has good speed. Thompson they're talking about here. He hit 2 inside the park home runs in the same game, one game.
Great.
Which in the Polo Grounds isn't that hard to do.
No.
I don't know if you've ever seen the dimensions of the Polo Grounds, but it's giant.
Gonna be huge, right?
It's a giant oval. Oh. So try and put a baseball field in an oval. How do you do it?
You can't do that, yeah.
Well, you do it long ways. So it was like 290 down the lines or something, even less than that maybe, like right down the lines. It was super shallow, but it was like 520 feet to center field, literally. Wow. That catch, you always see the Willie Mays running and catching it just over his shoulder as it goes. That was like a 500-foot ball. Like that ball was a monster home run
Towering
today.
Home
I mean,
run.
if he would have hit that, the guy would have thrown his bat down and walked up the first base line looking at it. And back then, you better run your fucking ass off because that ain't a home run.
And Willie's fast.
And Willie's fast as fuck, and he's getting to that ball. That's a lot of the home run numbers back then. You look at them, and they're actually huge for how big some of these parks were. Yankee Stadium used to be $495 to the power alley. The power alley. What is $399 now, I believe, was fucking an extra 100 feet, basically. It was crazy. So Joe DiMaggio hit a lot of 450-foot outs that should have been fucking home runs, or doubles that could have been home runs.
Dodger Stadium is so small.
It's they built that. It was
so small.
That became the style after that. None of this crazy dimensions because they wanted home runs because that's what people wanted to see to buy tickets.
And in a field like that, you can hit it out of the park. Like Barry was doing it all the time in San Francisco. When you hit it out of the park, that's like such an amazing thing to see. But it's really, it's not that. It's certainly impressive and very hard. It's impossible to fucking do. But
better than we can do.
It's not as impossible as this shit.
No, fuck no. 1951 Giants, 98-59. Mm-hmm. They are in first place. This is with Willie Mays on there. They go all the way to the World Series, which they lose in 6 games to the Yankees. So, and this is the fucking 52. They had still at 51. This is, I believe, Mantle's rookie year, and Joe DiMaggio is still there. Wow. So, I mean, a lot of players there. Not too shabby. He did great. He was, Hank Thompson didn't have a great year though that year, which is interesting. Yeah, didn't have a terrific year. He got off to a bad start. By June 4th, though, he got his average up to about 278 and had 7 home runs, which was the second highest total on the club. But by July 18th, his average was down to 239, and he only had 1 homer since June 4th. Mm-hmm. So a huge midseason slump, big time here. He was spiked by Frank Hiller of Chicago and knocked out of action one year.
Son of a bitch.
The next afternoon, outfielder Bobby Thompson, who'd lost his center field job to Willie Mays almost 2 years earlier, was installed at third base. A few days later, it was announced that Thompson had been optioned down to the Giants AAA club here. And Bobby Thompson, by the way, not Hank Thompson, Bobby Thompson was the guy who hit the home run, the shot heard around the world. That's that guy. Okay. To beat the Dodgers to go to the World Series. So that's pretty interesting. Hank ended up in Minneapolis for their farm team, where he ripped it up down there. He hit 340 with a 1209 OPS, which is huge. He was just ripping shit apart. So the Giants, Hank returned to his place on the bench behind Bobby Thompson, though. He went to the Giants back up there, and Hank, they put him on the bench, and they let Bobby Thompson finish playing third. So that year, because he wasn't. And so, yeah, that's the shot heard around the world happens and all that shit. It's a big deal here. So Hank Thompson joined the Roy Campanella's All-Stars after the regular 1951 season to do barnstorming. They all did this every year. Tons of barnstorming. And goddamn, major league players on that team: Roy Campanella, Larry Doby, Luke Easter, Monty Irvin, Willie Mays, Don Newcomb, Harry Simpson, Hank Thompson. That's big shit. There's a lot of great players on that team. 52, the Giants, 92-62.
Okay.
So second place that year. Not quite there, but almost there. He finishes, by the way, the 51 season, he finished with a 235 average, Hank Thompson, and only 8 home runs in 87 games.
Yeah.
So having a hard time there, I would say. Left fielder Monty Irvin, who was the reigning National League RBI king, broke his leg before the start of the 52 season. So that's not terrific, I would say. They end up moving Hank back to third base for the last third of the 52 season here. He started 51 games in center field, 43 at third, 17 in left, and he also filled in at second base and right field, Hank Thompson. So that's tough, man. That's going to be tough to concentrate.
Certainly not easy.
If you're doing that shit. So 1952, the year he hit 260 that year, so a little bit better. Again, he goes on the barnstorming tour. Same guys here. Willie Mays had to join the Army for a while here, by the way.
Is that right? Did he really do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Willie Mays was in the Army. Hank Aaron was in the Army.
Yeah, in the 50s?
Yeah, Korea.
No. Oh, yeah.
He had to go to Korea. Mickey Mantle got out of it because he tore his fucking knee apart. Nice. He was too fucking injured to go to the Army.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle, by the way, had still to this day, fastest time from the box to first base that's ever existed before he hurt his knee. Yeah, he was that fast.
And
then blew his knee out in a drainage ditch in right center field there. And the Yankees
chasing a ball?
Yankee Stadium used to have big drainage ditches, and he fucking stepped in one and exploded his knee. And never was the same again, fast-wise, speed-wise. So 1953, 70-84 the Giants are. Not good. That's what happens when Willie Mays is in the Army. That's a tough one. And Thompson spent a lot of the time on the bench here. Gets back in the lineup mid-May. They had a rookie that they thought was going to be hot shit. And it turns out it wasn't. He wasn't hot shit. But Hank was hot shit this year. He hit 302 with 24 homers, a career high. That's huge. Yeah, he's killing it. Fucking not bad at all. And this is in only 454 plate appearances, 388 official at-bats. He had 24 homers. That's fucking good stuff, man. February 54 here, 1954 February, about 4 a.m. in the morning one day.
Yeah.
As if 4 a.m. could be any other time but the morning. He became involved with an argument with a Harlem cab driver and ended up with 14 stitches in his head.
Oh, the cab driver won.
Yeah, absolutely. But Hank was charged with felonious assault with this. So apparently he tried to get into it with the cab driver, who was a little tougher, apparently. I don't know. Those old-timey New York City cab drivers were not to be trifled with.
Yeah.
Those guys were tough, man.
They drive in New York, for Christ's sake.
Well, they used to literally fist fight in traffic every day, those guys. They were bad motherfuckers. So the case was later dismissed against him. So now he's got a murder and an assault already dismissed, so not too shabby. 1954, 97 and 57, the Giants are, and they win the World Series. They sweep over the Cleveland Indians, which is the last time they'll make it until 95. So
yeah, no kidding.
That was what the mean owner in Major League was referencing the last time they won. That's what they were doing here. I'm looking on this team. Monty Irvin, who is an all-star every year and a Hall of Famer, he made $25,000 that year. Looks like he's the highest paid player. Hoyt Wilhelm, who's a Hall of Fame knuckleball pitcher, made $15,000 that year. Willie Mays, $12,500 that year.
Really?
That's all he made. Yep.
He made no goddamn money, did he?
No, he made shit. No, he made no money.
That's
absolutely
too bad.
not. Nope, that's why Willie's been hanging around fucking baseball ever since.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure he loves it, but he also needs a paycheck.
Loved. Yeah. I think he died last year, right?
He did,
This year?
yeah. He worked for the Giants forever.
Right.
I mean, he's an ambassador to the sport
he's
anyway.
beloved,
he's fucking Willie Mays. Who doesn't like Willie Mays?
Nobody says a bad thing about say, hey, come on.
If you don't like Willie Mays, you just don't like
you don't like anything.
Things.
You're a miserable cunt.
Yeah. How could you not like a guy who joyously plays baseball with a big smile on his face and does great and likes everybody and everybody? How do you hate that guy?
Never heard a bad story about that guy.
No, fucking shit, man. Thompson had a great day, his best day as a major leaguer on June 3rd of 54 here. Playing in St. Louis, he homered his first 3 times at bat.
Oh.
And then they intentionally walked him in the 7th inning with no outs and a man on second.
He hit 3 in one day, one game?
Oh, yeah, 3 in a row, which is great. And then he had another chance up at the plate, but he drove in, he instead singled and drove in his 8th run of the game.
4 for 5? God damn, with 3 homers?
Not too bad. Yeah, not too fucking bad here. He hit .364 in the World Series and drew 7 base on balls.
Awesome.
So just killed it that year. He only hit .263 in the regular season, but 26 home runs for his career high.
Yeah.
Not too shabby at all, and they won the World Series. So now he's got a ring back on the Campanella All-Stars that year. He does another barnstorming tour, so you got to make that dough, man.
Yeah.
1955, 80 and 74. They finished 3rd in the National League under DeRocher here. And this year, he's only 29 years old. He seems like he's 100, right?
No kidding.
He's fought in wars. He's shot a guy. He's got all this shit going on.
Had a more exciting life than Jesus so far.
Yeah, totally. But this year, he kind of has a drop. He hits .245, only 17 home runs.
Okay.
Not quite the same pop and impact that he had in the last couple seasons here. Yeah. He joined the Willie Mays All-Stars for their part in the postseason barnstorming tour. And, they only had 17 players on that roster, so that's not a lot of players here. During the tour, the team was referred to in the media by the Willie Mays All-Stars, the Major League All-Stars, the Mays and Newcomb All-Stars, and the Negro Major League All-Stars. Okay. They said it got fucking limited newspaper coverage for some reason.
Wow.
I don't understand why. That's very weird.
That feels like a conspiracy.
It's very strange, man. I don't understand it. One of his games on the tour, he went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs. So very good. Okay. He made $18,000 that year, 1955.
Fuck the newspapers. I got $18,000.
No, I don't mean for the barnstorming. His major league salary was $18,000.
Really?
Yeah. 1956 Giants, 67 and 87. Leo DeRocher's gone. Bill Rigney is there now, or Rigney, and they finish in 6th place. So Not good. Oh, and they're dead last in attendance as well.
Ouch.
This is why the Giants moved.
Yeah.
Because I believe this is their last season in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they've got so many goddamn teams up there.
Yeah, and the Polo Grounds was a huge falling apart hunk of shit as well.
Yeah.
And it was in a not the greatest neighborhood and all that kind of thing, so it became difficult. And L.A. just looked, or San Francisco looked so
pristine
compared to this.
new.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it was here. So Hank Thompson started the 56th season, they said, with renewed optimism. He got a new contract paying him $18,500 for the season, and he was very confident here. But he played well in the early part of spring training and then injured his shoulder and lost his starting job at third base to a rookie, and not too great. Now, he actually did, in 5 exhibition games, the ones we have box scores for, he went 7 for 12 with 2 home runs in the spring. So he was doing fine until he hurt his shoulder. And then it was not good after that.
It's over, yeah.
June 7th, 56, Hank Thompson is hit in the head again by a Cardinals pitcher.
Oh, no.
Again. This is in the 4th inning in a game with St. Louis, because I think they hit him the first time, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was carried from the field on a stretcher and taken to a hospital here.
That bad.
Wow. The Cardinal club physician said he believed Thompson suffered a concussion. He was hit in the head by Tom Pahalski. So he was taken off and transported to the hospital. He did not have a fractured skull, but he would suffer from recurring severe headaches for several weeks. He had a good concussion.
Yeah.
He had a quarterback concussion. It was the official diagnosis was a severe concussion. He tried to play the next day and was taken out of the lineup because he complained of being super dizzy out just in the field. He couldn't manage it.
You've got a fucking head injury, man.
Fuck. On June 15th, he was flown from Cincinnati back to New York City for further tests and evaluation. During the next several weeks, he's in and out of several different hospitals on all sorts of different occasions. The longest of these stays was in June when he was hospitalized. So he doesn't return to the starting lineup until July 7th.
Ouch.
And apparently at that point, he still wasn't doing great. He was plagued by still head
injuries,
stuff. Yeah. And also he hasn't been doing anything because he's been in the hospital. So he's in poor physical shape, too, at this point. He's not in playing shape either. So having a hard time. So once the season had concluded, Willie Mays put another all-star team together. They put him on it to do the barnstorming here. So he does that. They play 32 barnstorming games. And they said they went to mid-sized cities like Jacksonville because there was less competition for the entertainment dollar.
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense. So anyway, 1957, as it started, it looked like Thompson didn't really fit into the plans for the future.
Okay.
He missed an exhibition game against Cleveland and San Diego. He just didn't show up.
Really?
Just didn't show up, which you can't do that. So the manager fined him $150. When asked about losing his starting job at third base and even possibly not making the major league roster, Thompson was quoted in the media as saying, quote, "Every time they shuffle the deck, they lose me somewhere. I don't know what it is, but Rig has never given me much attention. We're the best of friends, but he doesn't seem to like me as a ball player," meaning the manager. So he ends up being sold to the Minneapolis Millers of the American Association in April of 1957, before the start of the regular season. Okay. So that is the last time he went to Minneapolis. He was there for like a couple weeks, tore it up, and they brought him right back. But didn't quite work out that way here. He appears in 78 games there, and for them, he only hits .243.
Yikes.
And then leaves the team in late July. In mid-July, sorry. In interviews, he said he remembered his playing days on that note, but he did in fact try to resurrect his career later on, as we'll talk about too. But July 17th, 1957, he officially retires. Okay. Retires from baseball. His average had gone down for the 4th straight year. He said he knew it was his time. He said, "The game has been good to me, but it's a young man's game. I'm going home to California."
What?
I guess California's home now.
That's okay.
Well, I guess if the Giants moved there and he moved, but 57, I don't know, because he didn't really go there. Maybe he just lived there. I guess if you had the money and it was that was a nice place to live back then, too.
And it was
cheap.
it was cheap then. Fuck, yeah.
It was fucking cheap and not a bad place to go. So he's going home to California here. He was only 31 years old.
Awesome.
So he should have had more seasons ahead of him. He said his legs hurt, though. He had leg problems.
Yeah.
They said, what happened to your legs? He said, quote, they just went bad.
Yeah.
Like milk. His legs
I
went.
used them too much.
Yeah, it just went bad, man. They spoiled. Really, they'd been bad for a long time. It was a ligament trouble. He said, in Greensboro, North Carolina, I needed to have Novocaine shots to play before games. I lived in the whirlpool. It was almost like my bed.
Fuck.
Yeah. There's a blurb in the Boston American about him coming back in January 30th of 58, where they talked about, but apparently it was just talks and it never happened. Yeah. So in an attempt to get back into the game, he heads down to Puerto Rico to play for the Ponce Leones for the 57-58 Winter League. He only played in 3 games before they released him.
Okay.
That was that. He went back to the U.S., and his baseball career is fucking over.
It's over.
It is over. So after he retired, he then started taking menial jobs. Because
there's no way he's saved anything.
No, and he never went to school, so he has no education. But this is right before the time when at least a known retired major leaguer could do some like appearances. This is before card shows and cons and everything like that.
This is a time that like you could have no education, and if you're good at something, you can still make a damn good living.
You could be a salesman and do great. Yeah, as long as you can.
If you can weld anything, take anything apart and put it back together better.
Absolutely,
you can make money.
But he didn't really have any formal education or job skills because he just played baseball, so he never had job skills. He never had a job.
An alcoholic 17-year-old.
Yeah, so he said his income went from $36,000 a year when he was playing in baseball, with the barnstorming and the regular salary, to less than $5,000 a year when he retired.
Ouch.
He said, quote, that when you make big money, you spend big, and I did. So he just said he didn't save any of his money. Wow. According to Hank, immediately after he retired, he was offered a job by the New York Giants as a part-time bird dog scout, but he turned it down. Idiot. Now, maybe he wanted to get away from baseball. The life of a bird dog scout is tough, too.
It's not good,
You're not even the scout. You're the guy who tells the scout about a guy.
So you're running around on trains going, head on down here, there's a guy down there.
Yeah, you're just driving from little town to little town to watch high school baseball games, church league games, sandlot games. Anywhere you heard a guy is a good player, you're going to go try to find that.
And then that was you probably still had some competition and such. I saw a commercial on TV the other night for the best in Arizona high school football. I was like, how dare you advertise that as your programming for your channel?
That's programming?
You're telling us don't watch? What are you doing? Who the fuck's watching that?
I hope not anybody. I can't watch that. It's hard to watch good football. Bad football is unwatchable.
I'm not watching high school football.
Nothing more unwatchable than bad football. No, it's so bad. He worked as a taxi driver in New York City. I would much rather be a scout.
I don't know, man. That guy maybe told him, he got his ass kicked by one. Maybe that's a pretty tough job to have.
Wow. He umped some baseball games. He said he would just drift from job to job. He just couldn't find anything that stuck. This is between bouts of having no job.
This is a 30-year-old man, 30
He's 31. Yeah, 31, wow. 32. When he was unemployed, he would tell people he was in public relations, so they would just not ask any more questions.
That's a confusing and vague answer.
Yeah. He worked for a short time as a delivery person at one point, delivered shit. He sold cars. He did anything he could. He said bartending was the job he'd go back to more than others. The man knows booze.
Because I can sample a few in between. One for you, one for me.
Yep. He was fired often, though, because on numerous occasions he was caught taking money from the cash register.
Oh, not even drinking.
Can't do
just
that.
Robbing the place.
Robbing the place blind. You're probably allowed to drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just stealing.
Jesus Christ. In 1959, he managed a small chain of candy stores in Brooklyn. In 61, he was briefly employed by the New York Giants at their spring training site in Arizona. His duties involved not fucking hitting instructor or anything baseball related. His duties involved maintenance activities and cleaning the pool.
What?
He was just on the team 5 years ago. Now he's cleaning the pool. What are you talking about?
Grab the skimmer, Hank.
What the fuck? Yeah, there's a dead bird in the filter, Frank. You want to go, Hank? You want to grab that?
There's a couple lizards.
Holy shit! Wow. That didn't last very long, though, so he moved back to Texas when it was all over. What's he doing? The crime and sports rule that he's breaking.
Yeah,
he's going home.
Going right the fuck home.
This is not good. This isn't good. Yeah, he is like just a prototype for a crime and sports athlete, this guy. So he, January 30th, 1958, it says, pick Hank Thompson off base with auto. That's the Daily News headline here with auto. Hank Thompson, former New York Giants baseball star, got himself into big trouble last night on charges of stealing a car. Shortly before 10 o'clock, Thompson, 33, holy shit, of St. Nicholas Avenue, was booked at the Wadsworth Avenue station. Groaning mildly because of a monumental hangover, Hank was jugged pending an arraignment in magistrate's court today. Detective Redmond Burke gave this account. Here we go. At 4 a.m. yesterday, he just needs to not be out at 4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m. is a bad time for him.
At 4 a.m. yesterday, bent on rushing over to a party in Brooklyn, Hank went to the garage at 167th Street and Amsterdam Avenue where he keeps his own car. It was there, but blocked by a battery of other vehicles. Up front, free and clear and with keys in it, was the auto of Walter Jones, 35, a merchant seaman.
This one will do.
I'll just take this one.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Jesus Christ. So anxious to get on with the festivities, Hank climbed into Jones's auto and made it to Brooklyn, Burke said. Came the dawn and many hours more, and Hank still was having a ball, the detective said. At 4 p.m., Hank found himself in conversation in a Harlem tavern with two men. They were Frank Norfleet, 38, a waiter, and Richard Lauber, 33, a chauffeur, and they had someplace important to go. Hank affably gave them the car keys he happened to have, and off they went. He said, take this car. Yeah, you can't do this.
Nope.
If he needed to go to the store and he drove it and came back and said, you shouldn't have blocked me in, that would be one thing. This guy took it for more than 12 hours. Now he's loaning it to other people.
Yeah, you block it in and leave the keys in it. That's telling me take this one if you need yours.
Yeah, just take that. That's what I'm saying. Here, just in case. Sorry I did that. So before the guy who owned the car even noticed it was missing and reporting it to the cops, this is 5 p.m., a patrolman at the West 157th 2nd Street station spotted the auto at 150th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, flagged down the two guys inside to pull over, and arrested them for fucking having a stolen car. They said, no, it's a mistake. No, Hank Thompson. Great guy. You know,
our
Hank,
friend's car. Yeah.
Our buddy Hank Thompson. You know him. Good old Hank. He played for the Giants and everything. Yeah, you know him. He said that he gave me the vehicle. So this cop got Hank Thompson on the phone at his home at 7:30 p.m. with a hangover and all this shit. And they said, can you come down here and clear some shit up for us, Hank? So he came down to the station and said, no, it's all true. And I did give him the car. And I just took it. It was just outside. And so he's arrested, obviously.
Oh, boy.
You can't have that. So he appears in court on auto theft charges here. He not only, it's auto theft and fucking lending. I guess he got some advice from the judge here. The charges against his two friends were dismissed here. The charges against him were dismissed too.
Oh.
And the judge just told him, quote, behave yourself.
Yeah. We'll call it a misunderstanding as long as you keep your nose clean.
Well, the owner of the car said he didn't want to press charges.
Right, because
Hank
stole it. That's a great story.
Good old Hank.
Yeah.
That crazy Hank. As long as it didn't get wrecked or something, who cares? Yeah, crazy Hank.
Oh, my God. If the cops called me tomorrow and said, Tim Raines has your truck in Scottsdale, I'd be like, oh, my God, that's crazy.
Keep him. Let him keep it.
Will he sit down and tell me Coke stories first?
Yeah, I want to know a lot of Coke stories, for sure. Why does Joe Carter have my car? I don't know.
That's crazy.
But I'm willing to listen to the story.
Tell me a home run story and we'll call it even.
You know what Hank's excuse was?
What?
I was shit-faced.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
I was drunk driving. That's
yeah. He said I was partying and I wanted to go to this other party and I couldn't get my car, so I was so shit faced I didn't know how to figure it out. So I just grabbed this one and drove.
Wow.
And the guy said, "No problem, Hank."
Have you seen License to Drive? Same thing happened to me.
Yes, me, you, Corey Haim. It happens to everybody. April 13th, 1959. Thompson faces several charges. It's all falling apart.
Yeah.
He's this former New York Giants third baseman was to be arraigned in a felony Monday on charges of burglary and assault.
Oh,
for allegedly punching a woman press agent and stealing $3 from her purse.
Oh, dude.
No, Hank. It's
assaulted
gone so low.
a lady over $3?
That's a mugging. He mugged a woman for $3.
Yeah.
That is pathetic.
Gross.
The charges against him were brought by Mrs. Ruth Bowen, 34, who told police she and her husband, a musician, Billy Bowen, had known Thompson for about 6 years. They know the guy.
You punched a friend for $3.
Wow. Jesus, she said Thompson came to their apartment Saturday night, beat her up, threatened to kill her, and rifled through her purse. This is a friend of theirs, just showed up and said, "Where's your fucking money?" and started beating her up. Holy fuck. She said that she fled the apartment and was treated at the hospital for injuries. Police said Thompson called Mrs. Bowen's husband Sunday and set up a meeting with him on Harlem Street corner where police called by Bowen arrested him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is fucking amazing. By the way, Billy Bowen was the singer of the Ink Spots. That was the band, which was a band that was a bigger band. 1959, Hank and Maria get divorced. So it couldn't be going worse for him. It honestly couldn't be going worse. So, I mean, he's going to be sitting in his empty, I assume, shitty apartment by now.
Oh, it's empty. Yeah.
It's empty. Trying to figure out how to make a living, how to stay out of jail.
He had nothing. Now he's got half of that.
Yeah, half of nothing. He's only 34.
Oh, God. Jesus.
He's 34. When this happens, he hasn't even turned 34 yet. He's fucking 33 years old.
In what year? 1962?
1959. 59.
Oh, my God.
I mean, Jesus Christ, he should still be playing in the majors. Buck O'Neil was still hitting fucking 30 home runs at his age. This is crazy shit. Fuck. So he's sitting at home. What are you going to do? I mean, Jesus, he's got to be plotting, crying, plotting, scheming, doing whatever you can. But either way, what he does need is he needs to spruce this place up a little bit. And there's one person that can help him with that. He comes a knocking. Yeah. It's Dexter Manley, interior decorator from New York City. And he says, "How is it you've come to arrive here? Seriously, you're like hanging out with like Willie Mays. You know how cool he is? He's fucking Willie Mays. And you're like, you're you.
He talks more flamboyant than me.
He's the only man more excited than me. I say, Willie, this is gonna look great in your place. And he goes, yes, it is. And we go back and forth. And then it's just, we get so excited. So
straightest flamboyant man on the planet.
You, sir, you're going around, you're punching ladies. Yeah. You're doing gross things like that. You're a cab driver What are you doing? You, sir, are white trash. I'm sorry, you are. I don't care where you from or what you are, but you're acting like white trash. This is white trash behavior as a whole. You're divorcing your wife because you're punching a woman in the head. Do you get it? You act like you poop in a bucket is what I'm getting at here. So move to West Virginia or get your shit together, mister. I have to go now. This place is not up to my standards. Poof, and he's gone in a cloud of boas and feathers and interior design ideas. So February 26, 1961. Okay, 1:30 a.m. Again, you know something bad's going to happen now. Hank walks into a bar called Bill's Place. This is like a joke. It's 1 a.m. Hank walks into a bar. There's a priest, a rabbi, and
Bill.
And a midget. And Bill. It's on Amsterdam Avenue in the Washington Heights section of Harlem, right by the old Polo Grounds, by the way, where he starred. He was drunk. He was depressed. And he held a gun to the bartender's head.
What?
And said, "Do you know who I am?"
Oh, boy.
And the guy said no. And he said, "Oh, good. Then give me all your money."
Oh.
It's like, yeah, you don't know I'm Hank Thompson. You won't go tell the cops. Fine, then give me your money. But that's how he got it. So he armed robbery of a bar
Harlem?
here in Harlem. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's arrested, of course, on charges of, but he did get away. I'm sure it would have been it's a big haul and well worth it. $37 he got out of this. Holy fucking shit. Yep. He took that amount from Bill's bar. Wow, that is crazy. When the judge, looking over his lengthy arrest record, said, quote, "You are a serious disappointment to thousands of children and baseball fans if these facts are true. I hope for your sake that they are not." Yikes. He told police he was 40, but he's really not 40. He's only 35. I don't know why he told police he was 40. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
By the way, a few years earlier, about 1957, in this same bar, he's a place he hung out.
What?
He's a fucking moron. He's like the guy in White Men Can't Jump who's going to rob the store of the guy he knew. Is that you? Nah, man, that ain't me. That was the funniest shit.
Is it Randall? Was that his name?
Something like that. Is that you? Whatever. And he's like, "Nah, man, that ain't me." He's making his voice all high. He's like, "Man, get the hell out of here." He tells him, "Get the hell out of here, goddamn." He goes, "All right, fine."
I know.
And then he goes, "You want to buy a gun?" And he sells him the gun he tried to rob him with. That was the greatest thing ever. I love that. But in this same bar, he had sold his 1954 World Series ring.
No way.
For $250.
Oh, where is that ring?
Oh, man, dude.
I want that ring.
Yeah, I want to know where it is.
That's an awesome ring to have.
I want to track that ring down and find out where it is.
How do we find out?
I don't know. That's gonna be something. Let's make that a mission of ours. We're gonna find out.
I want that ring.
Where
and
Hank
whoever
Thompson's
has
ring
it,
is.
You paid $250. I'm giving you $300.
I'll give you $350. I'll make it fair. So bail is set at $10,000 for Hank, which he certainly doesn't have. No. He doesn't even have the $37 he stole.
He spent that on gas to get away.
Oh my God! Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ! So that is terrible. Then there's a story right under that that's a little more whimsical. Yeah. Flying house just misses Scott's boater.
What? Where?
Donald McCorderdale was chugging peacefully along in his boat Thursday when a piece of his house fell out of the sky and almost brained him.
Wow.
That's in the newspaper.
It happened to be his house.
His house. He's a ferryman for the islands of Seal and Easdale, which have no other means of transport to the mainland. He lives in Easdale, where his housing is scarce. Recently, the county council agreed to provide him with better dwelling. They decided to carry in a prefabricated house by helicopter, since the island has no pier suitable for cargo ships.
Uh-oh.
The helicopter was carrying parts of the house to there when a 300-pound chunk of the roof broke loose and almost killed the man.
Oh, boy.
Of his own house.
Wow.
Let's see here. Thompson is indicted here for stealing $37. He could face a maximum penalty of 59 years in prison for that.
Jesus.
Holy shit. It's a second-degree assault, first-degree grand larceny, first-degree robbery.
Yeah.
So $3,500 bail it's down to, but no one is giving him that. And it's none of his old ball player friends are coming to his. Willie Mays is rich right now. He's not helping him. Monty Irvin's not helping him. Leo DeRocher's not helping him. Nobody's helping him. November 11th, 1961, he's going to plead guilty to a charge of third-degree robbery. I feel like they feel bad for him.
Sure feels like it, yeah.
I feel like he's a World Series champion for the Giants, and I feel like they feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Like his life has fallen the fuck apart. So he is going to be placed on, you, sir, may fuck off, a suspended sentence and placed under indefinite probation.
Oh, boy. We'll tell you when you've been good enough.
Just you fuck up too much. He is not to drink liquor.
Oh.
And is to go to the San Francisco Giants training camp near Phoenix where a job awaits him. That's the job of him cleaning fucking pools.
Yeah.
As if he couldn't be low enough.
Oh, God.
This team doesn't try to bring him back into the fold and build him up. put a uniform on him and say, go do some instructional shit with some young guys or something, anything like that. They say, clean the fucking pool. Here's a strainer.
You're sentenced to pool cleaning duty.
Wow. That's fucked up, man. So the defense attorney in a plea deal for Thompson said that, quote, his rise to fame was too fast and his drop too sudden.
Yeah,
that's what he told the judge.
A torturous job, though. Cleaning pools in Arizona, you don't get in it.
Jesus Christ.
You're just on the side of a pool sweating your fucking ass off.
In the most humid place there is in Phoenix, next to a fucking pool where it's being just evaporating constantly.
The sun just beats on you, and you just go, I wish I could get in this pool.
Oh, man. So the reason why he got probation was letters from Giants owner Horace Stoneham and Ford Frick, the baseball commissioner, both sent letters to the judge asking for probation and to give him another chance.
Be nice to this guy.
So they did. And then in July 1962, he walked into a Houston, Texas liquor store with a stolen gun and held it up and committed armed robbery again with a stolen gun.
In Texas, my friend?
In Houston.
Don't do that.
He ended up somehow getting away from there. And in July 1963, he is charged in Evansville, Indiana, with burgling a print shop from which he allegedly stole 2 handguns.
Oh, boy.
The reason for the robbery and burglary was, quote, he was drunk and needed money.
He's drunk and broke, yeah.
Drunk and broke. He's on indefinite probation. What happened to that?
Yeah, how did New York let him
So, fuck, in Evansville, this is July of 63, he's charged with robbery and, robbery by firearms and burglary. He's being held in connection with a liquor store robbery and the burglary of a print shop Friday night. So that's a lot of shit going on for him here. The liquor store owner, Jack C. Torregrossa, said the man who robbed his store forced him into a back room at gunpoint, locked him in there, and took about $150 cash and 2 pints of whiskey.
You don't got a lot of money in here, so I'll take this.
I'm sorry, it ended up with $270 in cash is what they figured out, though.
And 2 pints.
Yep. He was arrested, apprehended, sent to court here, and we'll talk about his sentence in the beginning. We'll talk about his sentence here. We'll learn a little bit more about the 62 thing here. Let's see here. Hank, talking about him, they say he will not be around for the World Series next week or the next 3 or 4 after that, at least, this article says.
He's going to spend some time.
He went to jail in Houston Wednesday, sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 10 years in prison.
Well, that'll teach you a lesson.
It added up. Yeah. That's the problem. It added up.
But you're lucky they're not putting you to death. It's Texas.
Yeah. You can't hold people at gunpoint, especially when you're drunk, man. You could kill them by accident. That's not good. Not good at all. With good behavior, he will be eligible for parole in 4 years, though. Interesting. Gary Shoemaker, the veteran public relations man of the Giants, said he was a real high-class guy, intelligent, well-liked by other players. He could play anywhere. For years, he was one of the real good players on the team, but he always had a drinking problem. When he drank, he would do things that you just couldn't explain. It was like room only minutes after a shade came down over his robbery involving $150. I don't know how that makes sense, but okay. So he was in trouble. He's been in trouble all the time. So, obviously, one time, by the way, he tried to rob a liquor store where he was well known, and that got brushed under the.
He's robbing liquor stores, like the lowest of robbery.
That's terrible, man. September 28th, 1963. He says that drinking and gold diggers led him to this.
Gold diggers?
Gold diggers, yeah.
Is that a type of booze?
What guy's that? Goldschlager's other one there. So he says that a cell awaits him and transferred to a Texas state prison in Huntsville for 10-year sentence here. Thompson, one of the first big league Negro stars, got more than $11,000 as a winner's share in the World Series. He got $90 in the robbery of a Houston liquor store. Again, the numbers range from $90 to $150 to $250.
They don't get numbers right in these old. And it was shot anywhere from 3 to 9 times, robbed anywhere from $38 to $250.
Anywhere in there. So this is an interview with him in jail, and they ask him. They said that he estimates he made, this is from endorsements, barnstorming,
everything,
salaries, $250,000 in his career.
$250,000 in the fucking 40s and 50s.
Back then was like making a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
And they said, well, where did it all go? His answer, quote, liquor and gold diggers.
The drink. God damn.
Which is definitely the name of this episode. Liquor and gold diggers, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, it's a Kanye West song.
It pretty much is. I think Hank Thompson was a co-writer on that one. He said he can't figure out how he went downhill. He said, quote, it could be in my head. I was beamed 4 times during my career, and one of those times I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I get some bad headaches. Say he's got like a concussion, CTE type of deal. I see some people drink and they can sit there and just go right on talking. I can't. I have to strike out at something. Usually my friends or sometimes myself. Well, we'll give here's his explanation of the robbery. Let's give them it in their own words here.
All right.
What do you say? Let's go. In their own words, quote, I was drinking the night I pulled the robbery. It was the first time I had ever done anything like that, but I needed money to get back to California where I had a job waiting. That's his explanation.
That's a crazy reason to rob.
Traveling money.
Yeah.
He could have probably asked. He probably could have asked the Giants for a train ticket. They probably would have given it to him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, honestly, the guy's been through a lot.
A lot.
He was in the
brought
war
on himself too, but yeah,
a lot brought on himself. Yeah. I mean, he's in the war. Any of those World War II guys, I respect them. Now, a lot of them too. They started drinking after the war. He was a drunk before he ever went to the war, so you can't blame that on the war. But he has been hitting the head. I'm sure he wasn't treated fairly in baseball.
Yeah, the guy in the Sandlot went blind from it.
Yeah. So. I mean, anything can happen here, so you got to kind of feel bad for Hank a little bit here. Sure. And I do feel bad for Hank, Jimmy, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Hank Thompson, CPA, at the Premier Trucker Group in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Hank Thompson, field sales professional at BSN Sports.
Oh.
So you even look up sports Hank Thompson. He comes up here. He graduated from the University of Oklahoma. He did this one. Hank Thompson, mechanical engineer at Sandia National Laboratories in Livermore, California.
Oh.
And lastly, Henry William Thompson, Hank Thompson, of course, the country singer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Of course, him.
When did he sing? Fucking 40s?
Well, here's an
30s?
ad. Here's an ad from he looks young in this picture, the Vallejo Times-Herald, June 11th, 1949.
Yeah.
Dance, Sunday, June 12th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Hank Thompson and his orchestra. So he's got an orchestra going on at that point.
He wore a big stupid ad.
Yeah. He was a douchebag, too. He's not a nice guy, from what I understand.
Dude, it's crazy how many of those guys back then were just such pieces of shit.
A lot of them, they were outlaws.
They were bad dudes.
This was a way to not have a job. It wasn't considered like a career. It was a way to not have a job and go around and be able to drink at work and fuck women afterwards. It's a scam. So it's good shit. And as you might, if you watch Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia,
it's them.
His grandson is way fucked up. His bloodline has gone down to a guy fucking. I don't even know how to describe him.
What is that? The tattoo
Hank the
kid?
Third? Hank the Third.
Oh, him? Yeah, that's not.
Oh, he's Hank Williams, not Hank Thompson. Never mind.
Yeah, Hank Thompson's a piece of shit, too.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, too. But that was Hank Williams' grandson, not Hank Thompson. That's right. Okay,
was that Hank Williams?
Yeah, he was Hank Williams III, that guy.
Well, yeah, you're right. That is him, huh? The guy, God, his songs are so bad.
Fuck yeah.
They're so
when questioned by reporters about this incident, he said this, quote, my luck has been bad. I want to see a doctor. I want to see what's wrong with me and try to get straightened out. I feel bad about this. Mm-hmm. You're an alcoholic. That's what's wrong with you. Yeah. According to prison officials, he was a model prisoner. After just 6 months at the really shitty prison, he was transferred to the Ferguson unit, which was designed for far less violent criminals.
Yeah.
He seemed to be fine. He was assigned to the recreation department, where he coached the prison baseball team and was given a job supervising the 17 to 21-year-old offenders.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Before long, he was made a trustee, and he ended up joining AA in prison as well.
Oh.
And started saying, rather than what's wrong with me, I need to check myself out, he started saying, what's wrong with me is I was drunk all the time. I did all these things when I was shit-faced, so that's a problem. In an interview, he said, when I get out, I'm going to have to walk down the streets with liquor stores and bars, and I'll have to make a choice. Walk past them and live, or walk into one and run wild again. They say life begins at 40. It better for me.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, fucking better, man. He said he doesn't blame others. He doesn't blame society. He doesn't blame his shitty childhood. He doesn't blame the fact that he was black in a time where... that was going up against him. He doesn't blame any of that shit at all. He said, I'm a drunk, and no one made me drink.
That's it.
Period.
Just the alcohol.
He's a drunk. So 1967, he is paroled.
Oh.
Yep, he served 3 years of a 10-year sentence, and he is paroled. The headline on the story in the prison newspaper was, Hank Steals Home, which is great.
That's pretty funny.
Clever, prisoners, clever.
Yeah. It is interesting that 1944 seems like a million years ago, but 1969 doesn't seem that far.
Doesn't seem that long ago.
It's only 15 years apart.
Meanwhile, think about it this way. In 1984, 1944 was the same distance ago as 1984 is to now.
Yeah. That's
so
crazy.
When you were a kid, 1944 was that distance of not even, we don't think of 84 as back too far.
Yeah.
That's how it was then.
69 to 44 is 25 years, isn't it? Sorry.
69 to, yeah.
Yeah, I was, never mind. But 69 to 44 is only now to 1999. That's unbelievable.
That's not, that's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
It's wild. So after being released from prison on good behavior, he moved to Fresno where his mother lived. I haven't heard of his family in a long time. They didn't pop up forever. Yeah. He basically turned his life around. He was sober.
Yeah.
He's active in the AA groups in Fresno. He got married again to a woman named Betty Turner of Fresno, and he held a steady job.
Turning it around.
Yep. He was hired by the Fresno Recreation Department as playground director at the Frank H. Ball Playground. At least he's got, they're like, balls and stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So, I mean, it's not the career I'm sure he was looking for, but he doesn't have to rob people to buy booze now, which is good. He said it's also important to him because that at playgrounds is where kids are, and he said he thinks he can maybe help young people from going down his road, basically. Like, hey, I played with Willie fucking Mays and won a World Series ring that I don't have right now.
And now you're fixing the slide.
Now when something breaks, you complain to me about it. See how that works? He said when talking to young people, he always gave them the following advice. He said, get advice about money, how to save it, and how to invest it. He said, live a clean life, stay away from those good time people who pretend to be your friends, stay away from liquor, stay healthy. And then he said, baseball is the cleanest sport we have, so treat it decent.
Wow. Give it a minute, bud.
Yeah.
Also, stop writing dick on the underside of the swings. I'm tired of wiping this.
I'm always wiping that off. That's enough now. Real funny to do it in Sharpie. You think that shit's funny, don't you? Bullshit.
This is my advice.
His supervisor at the Parks Department there said he did a tremendous job. He was dedicated and helped quite a few boys who could have gone wrong.
That's great.
So he did great. On another interesting side note here, the January 14th edition of the 1969 Cleveland Plain Dealer newspaper reported that a movie about the life of Hank Thompson would be released in March of that year. Sidney Poitier was reported as the star of the movie.
I think he's dead, right?
Sidney Poitier? Now he is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's unclear whether the movie was ever produced, but research shows that it was never released to theaters. They don't know if it was ever produced, though, but it never came out if it was produced. He occasionally made trips to San Francisco to visit Willie Mays and watch his old team. Yeah. In 1969, he appeared in a Giants old-timers game that was played in San Francisco, which Willie was still fucking playing then.
Right, and he's in his 40s.
I want to say Willie played till 73 or some shit. Like, ridiculously long he played for.
Willie'd love to be there, but he's got a game against the Royals.
Yeah, sorry, man. So then he ends up in a modest home in the Butler Park area of Fresno with his wife and two stepchildren.
Ooh.
So he's doing that. Yep. In 1969, Hank viewed his prison time as a savior, he said in an interview.
Yeah.
He said, I really think that I should be glad I got sent to the correctional farm in Ferguson, Texas. I needed to be stopped. If I hadn't been, I would have killed somebody or I would have gotten myself killed. He should have said again because he did kill a guy.
Right. Yeah.
He literally killed a guy.
I would have
Drinking
been
is
to
not
jail
good for
for
him.
killing someone.
Yeah. 1969, they kind of here's a reminiscent tale, basically, here. They say Henry Thompson, 43, his hairline beginning to recede.
Yeah. Good for
Trying
you.
to set
Just beginning then?
Just
Nice.
beginning. In the living room of his modest home. They said it's in the Butler Park area on the east side of Fresno. Not fancy, but clean, well-kept and livable. He said, I was born in Oklahoma, and I was always playing baseball. We moved to Texas later, Dallas, and I got through 11 grades of school there, but then the Monarchs came along and offered me a contract for spring training. He didn't go to school that long. He's out of his mind. He said his career was interrupted by military service and all that. And he said, he said that Jay Wilkerson, the Browns owner, started scouting the Negro Leagues. I think he wanted drawing cards. And he said, but the Indians, he said his legs fucked him up. That's what his career was the problem. He said, the Indians couldn't stop me during this one thing, but his legs could. He said, they just went bad. Just bad legs. Yeah. He said, really, they've been bad for a long time, but it said it got worse and worse and worse. Yeah. He said, I could still hit, he said, when he was on the AAA team in Minneapolis, but I was getting thrown out on balls that should have been doubles. He couldn't run anymore.
Yeah.
He said, I was only 32, but I told Red Davis, the manager, and Rosie Ryan, the general manager, I just couldn't do it anymore. So he said he was offered a job as a bird dog, but he didn't take it. He said, I had saved some money, but it began going real fast. I worked at a lot of jobs, bartending, selling cars, officiating ball games, but nothing satisfied me and nothing was steady. Then my first marriage broke up.
Yep.
He said, it was my own fault, I guess. I hadn't had a bad childhood or anything like that. A lot of people would say you did, but that's fine. Yeah. But you make the big money and you live high, and I did. It takes so long to get there, and then all of a sudden you don't have $200 or $300 in your pocket. You come down maybe overnight. You know how difficult that is? Yeah. He said he began drinking constantly. He said, sometimes I might be drunk days at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, he said all the time, man. He said that one night, he said in 63, this is his robbery, he said, I was over at a friend's house watching TV and drinking. The friend called and asked me to get him a telephone number out of his desk drawer. I saw a pistol in there. I was short of money and I was half drunk. So now they're saying he got $270 from holding up the liquor store. Holy shit. Called the Matinee Club here. He said the owner saw that gun sticking out of my shirt, and right away he called the police, or she called the police. They picked me up, and that was it. I really think that that I should be glad I got sent to the correctional farm in Ferguson, Texas. I needed to be stopped. If I hadn't been, I would have killed somebody, or I would have gotten killed myself.
Yeah.
He said, after listening to some of the prisoner stories and what life had done to them, I felt lucky as hell.
Sure.
Yeah, he said, especially talking to some of those 17 to 21-year-old kids who'd had just a horrible time. So he said he's still working with youth, running the playground. Never got the big money again, but he says he worries about his taxes and how to meet his budget at this point. He said that's it. That's all he does. He's just trying to...
Paying my chunk.
Now, James Baldwin, the author, spent several days with Thompson not long ago and is writing the story of his life. Baldwin will call it Rough Diamond, and they said the book should be out in 3 or 4 months. I don't know if it was ever released or not. But so then, September 30th, 1969, that was right after that interview, he has a seizure.
Oh, no.
And is transported to the Fresno VA hospital. His mother and wife were there at his side while he died.
Whoa.
At 43 years old.
Whoa.
43. Dead.
Those balls to the head had to knock something loose, right? There's no way that didn't contribute to this.
Seizure, they said that his death was listed as natural causes, perhaps a heart attack or seizure. They couldn't tell.
Or perhaps a fastball to the head 20 years
ago. Yeah, knocked something loose,
Yeah.
a chunk of something loose. And then also all that drinking couldn't have been great for his body
that's not
either.
Good for your body either.
So the day he died was 13 years to the day that he played his last game in the major leagues.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? So dead, his mother and his wife.
13 being like an unlucky number, too. That's fucked up.
Yeah, he's unlucky is a good way to put Hank Thompson. Yeah, he's unlucky. He said, I became a baseball I became a baseball has-been at 32. It was awful. I couldn't move around third base. Balls were going by me I should have had. I was disgracing baseball, and I still kept boozing it up. Wow. Former Negro League catcher Stanley Glenn probably did his best job describing Hank Thompson, this one article says. He categorized him the following way, quote, a little bit off-center. He had a drinking problem and a woman problem. He was like a time bomb, but he was all baseball on the field. He had all kinds of abilities.
Yeah.
And another Monarchs catcher here, Sammy Haynes, said that he had a lot of little kid in him, but he had a temper and liked to play rough.
Got a lot of fucking honky-tonk country in him, too.
A little bit. He's from Oklahoma, Texas.
Loving booze and bad women. That's awesome.
He's growing up in Dallas.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But, I mean, who doesn't love booze and bad women? How's that country?
I mean, letting it kill you. That's country.
Letting it kill you. I mean, that's rock and roll, period, isn't it? That's not country.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Rock stars are way better than that than country.
Honky-tonk guys love letting that
most
shit
of the time,
kill
country guys just have a fucking wife in their stupid farm and they sit on a tractor.
It's also comedy.
Yeah. It's also
booze
comedy.
And bad women kill you.
Well, that's comedy, wrestling. There's a lot of industries.
That's just dudes that refuse to grow up.
Yeah, that's they do a job like this because they don't want to be adults, and then we wonder why they fucking don't. Yeah, what do you think? Why do you think we do this?
Yeah,
because being an adult sucks. We don't have to be adults. We get to hang out like we're two teenagers.
Yeah.
This is great.
Substances and women. That's it.
That's it. Can't get enough of Hank Thompson? Well,
Love
you
him.
can get a Hank Thompson 1952 Topps card.
Oh.
With a black back, number 3. I wonder if this is a reprint or something, because it's only $12.99.
It's a reprint, yeah.
For a 57, even for a 52, even the commons are fucking.
Something made in 1952 is not under $500.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. And then a 57 Hank Thompson Giants card, tops $7. They got to be reprints.
There's no way those are real. No way.
Got to be. So anyway, there you go. There is Hank Thompson.
Awesome. What a story.
Crazy fucking story, crazy guy, crazy, just a flash. He's a flash that we don't even hear about him. That's the crazy part.
Never heard of him.
We don't know him at all.
And he played amongst a time that was like legendary. He played in a league that was legendary. He
in
came
that
up
time
at the cusp of black people being integrated into Major League Baseball. He's
one of the first few.
Yeah.
He was one of the first few guys.
And he did great at it. And he fucking won.
He integrated the first New York team.
And won.
That time, too, the early 50s, it's called the golden age of New York baseball because you had the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Yankees, and they were all fucking good. They were all going to the World Series every year, and it was like, must have been a great time to grow up there. But unless you
had to wear the wool.
Yeah. So there you go, everybody. There's Hank Thompson. If you like that story, tell the world about it. Tell everybody about it. Get on whatever app you are on, and please give a 5-star review and say something lovely. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say.
It's a great show. Say that.
Just say it's a great show. Say Hank Thompson liked his booze. Say what other industries are terrible that cause brain damage. It doesn't matter.
Booze and bad women.
That's it. Booze and bad women. So check that out. Please do that. Tell your friends about it as well. Do that. Follow us on social media at Crime and Sports on wherever the fuck you're on. You can definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes, sir.
Tickets for live shows, because next year's Small Town Murder live shows are going on sale in the next week. If you're listening to this when it comes out, they might be out right now. Check the website. Get on there. We're going to a bunch of cities we didn't go to this year. Not one overlapper. So get in there and get those tickets, and we cannot wait for that. They make great Christmas presents. Tell you that right now. So do that. You also want to get Patreon. Shit, man. Patreon.com, Patreon.com/crime in sports is where you get all the bonus materials. Holy shit, there's so much of it. Anybody $5 a month or above, you will be shocked by the amazing amount of shit that you're going to get immediately upon subscription. Hundreds of back episodes of Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder bonus, and then new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and goddamn it, you get all of it. That's right. And this week is no goddamn different. This week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to do a part 2 of terrible sports songs.
Terrible songs.
Teams singing together.
Why'd you do this song?
Guys who have no business rapping, fucking rapping. We'll talk all about it because there's so many that we didn't get to. Like the the Florida one, or my University of Miami guys rapping and all that shit. It's so bad. We'll talk about all that and more. On Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about remote viewing, which was really cultivated by the CIA to try to like see into a terrorist's cave to know if they're home to bomb them and shit like that. Absolutely crazy stuff that people claim is real as fuck, and maybe it is. We'll find out all about it. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports, and you get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never come into our liquor store and rob us just because they were drunk. Hit me with them right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Cody and Lainey Leversey. They're bringing a bunch of people to next year's shows. They're terrific people.
Good people.
I think they're trying. I don't know. That doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to have kids, but I'm not sure. They just got married, the crazy kids.
I saw the post all nice and nice people.
I love that kid. Cody's fantastic. Anyway, Stephen Tott, or maybe Toe, T-O-T. I don't know if that's Toe. It could be Toe.
It's Tot.
All right.
We're calling him Tot. Yeah. He's a tater tot.
There it is. Gary Howard, Noel Meeks.
Gary. Hey, congratulations, Gary.
Oh, Gary's
grandchild
kids
as well.
are trying to have kids. There you go.
Yes, Gary had a brand new grandchild, and we'd like to say congratulations to Gary on that. Good job, buddy.
Regina
Good job having a kid a long time ago.
Good job. I don't know what you had to do with it.
He had a kid 25 years ago. Wouldn't be possible without it.
Maybe he put his foot on the kid's ass and pushed him in deeper. I don't know.
Get in there. Up toward the cervix. Let's go.
Ropes, I'm telling. All right, Regina Preholtz, Bryholtz, Linda Cody, maybe. Mike Connor, the coolest police chief in America. Matthew Moore, Diana Worley. He's terrific.
Good guy. Thanks, brother.
I love him. Other producers this week: Peyton Meadows, Elizabeth Rockefeller, Janice Hill, Brock Hall, Abby with no last name, Emily Michigan, Clarence Bunch. I don't know if that's Michigan. That may have been a correction from Apple. I don't remember typing Michigan.
Who knows? That might be Apple's
Clarence
problem.
Bunch, Warren Taylor, Savannah with no last name, Lee Arnold, Jeffrey Thomas, 401 Ontario, Michael Chernick, that's an M. Stacy Crosby, Kristen Piper, Jason with no last name, Suzanne Jackson, Dot Jenkins, Spells Cast Art, Lisa Montoya Darling, Chalaway, Josh with no last name, Megan Russell, Kit Tiley, Teresa Tapscott, Allie Knowlton, Sarah Lewis, The Sin Hitman 97, Dorothea Sterling, Daisy May, Kelly Greenwald, Andy with no last name, Krista Johnson, Andrew with no last name, Leonard Phelan maybe, Liz with no last name, Ashley Smodich, Chris Weber, probably not.
Chris, hey. Don't call timeout, Chris. Check how many you have first.
Timeout, Chris. Panda Sanchez, Jared Laurent, Emily Payne, Brianna Coda, Ratch with no last name. I imagine that's short for Rachel. AJ, Bryce with no last name.
Or
Charisma.
Ratchet. You never know.
Maybe. She may have some
Just
self-awareness.
really self-aware. Yeah. That's all.
She looks in the mirror and goes, they just call me Ratch. Charisma Hunter. Trevosky. What is? Oh, that's a V. Trevosky. Caroline Drenau. Tucker Lisping. Lars Quartz. Aaron with no last name. Jacob Magnum.
Tucker can't help it.
Ashley Marie. Renee Lynn. What was it? What did I miss?
I said Tucker can't help it. He's lisping.
It's a part of life, man. He never grew up. Joe Dickinson. Laura Thierry. Tay with no last name. Taylor Martin. Duncan Lane. Austin Mason. Callie Smith. Karen Mays. Rob Ellis. Hunter Paulus. Holland Potter, Andrea Burton, Heather Neal, Brandon Machado, Calissa McAllister, Megan Derner, Jason Christ, Rick Weiss, Persephone. Persephone? Is that a name? Persephone, perhaps, if it's Italian? I don't know.
Hey, it's a Persephone.
Jen the dinosaur. Bud Dwyer, perhaps the best.
Yeah, him too.
Well
best
done.
Press conference of all time.
May many more have the fucking balls. Erica Longo, Bailey Bayless, Howard Haley, Hale, that's what it is. Brent McNamara, Jeannie Larson, Sean Major, Love My Inc., David F., Amanda Hepler, Maria with no last name, Courtney Hall, Kyle with no last name, May with no last name, Claire and Nicola, Samantha Zuniga, Laurel Schultz, Laurel is what it is, Nicole with no last name, Molly Goggin, Travis Stotts, Dana Ranky Gums, Ashley Jackson, Lavinia Hale, Robin with no last name, Natasha Combs, Amber Gonzalez, Brandy, nope, that's Brandon, Bobby Willie Patterson, Natalie Miller, Ruby Joe, Johnny Ruiz, Andrew W., Allison Roberts, Otto with no last name, Brad with no last name, Aaron Atienzo, Crystal Taylor, Sonny with no last name, Kelsey Watkins, God damn it, Chris Scrivener, maybe.
Reading is hard, isn't it?
It's the fucking worst
it really
thing on the
is.
planet.
All week.
Melanie Gunther, and then as I finish one, there comes another. Shell with no last name, Jessica Garcia, Hell's Half Acre. I don't know if that's the place. Isn't that a restaurant or a bar and grill or some shit? Maybe. Is Hell's Half Acre a thing?
It's like an idiom, like a cliche.
Is it?
It's like Hell's Half Acre, that place is.
I don't know what it is.
They call like a shitty house Hell's Half Acre.
Maybe I should read more books. Natalie Cook, Leah Arrington, Sam Penner, Amy Muir, Donna Jones, Kalia Martin, Janine Tenbrook, Jordan Alivado, DK, like Donkey Kong, Erica Tellis, Carly Osborne, Harley Weigert, DB with no last name like Cooper, Dustin Callahan, Bean with no last name, Taylor with no last name, Renee Blaine, Ashley Fazzino, Wynn with no last name, Melissa with no last name, Tracy with no last name, Eric Wright, Glenny Red, Todd Usher, Quentin Binkley, Cameron Hughes, Tasha Yarborough, Nick Fricano, Emily with no last name, Les Morcio, Christina Schultz, Anthony Cicilone, Casey Rath, and all of our patrons. You know what you are. You're the best.
Thank you, everybody, so much. God damn it, they're fucking awesome and wonderful, and they keep coming through for us. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. You want to follow us on social media, shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop-down menus take you every goddamn place you want to go, and you should keep going there and keep coming back here each and every week, because we'll be back again live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.